Ladies and gentlemen, welcome this afternoon to another live commentary coverage of the NASCAR Xfinity Series. A little Saturday edition of another race on the season, as it is a running of the Sports Clips Haircuts VFW Help a Hero 200. And in this race, it is a stacked field today. A lot of Cup Series regulars, maybe current or future NASCAR champions of the Cup Series, the highest level of racing, coming down to race this slightly lower series race today. We've got a good battle for the regular season championship going on now with just 2 races to go until the playoffs begin for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. We got a good bubble watch to also look out for on those drivers right on the cutoff line, inside and out for the NASCAR Xfinity Series playoffs. All that and more to unpack during the course of this 200-mile, 147-lap race at the track that is too tough to tame in Darlington, South Carolina. Appreciate everybody tuning in here today. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content, live commentary streams for the NASCAR Cup, Xfinity, and Truck Series schedules all season long for the races I don't go to in person right here on the channel. We will have coverage flag to flag, of course, of tomorrow's Southern 500 beginning at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so I hope to see you for that. But as for today's race, can't wait to bring you guys the action as usual. First people down in the chat below, Jackson Thomas, F1 Kid Fan, and Patrick Shadley. Thanks for tuning in. Race title's a little too long. It is a little too long. It is a mouthful, to say the least. What isn't a mouthful, but is going to be full of fun to watch, is this points battle. We'll take a look at it real quick here coming into the race. Again, 2 races left in the regular season for the Xfinity Series. Austin Hill has a 27-point advantage, over Justin Allgaier right now, as you see on the screen. Allgaier moved up past John Hunter Nemechek in the standings after his win at Daytona a week ago. Nemechek got in a wreck in that race, lost some points not only to Austin Hill, but obviously Allgaier in the 7. So Nemechek sits third in points, but only 1 point behind Justin, and only 28 points behind Austin Hill. So it's a 3-horse race for the title there. As for the drivers locked into the playoffs with a win in the Xfinity Series, Justin Allgaier getting his 2nd win of the season. He matches Cole Custer and Sam Mayer with 2 wins apiece. Austin Hill, 4 wins on the season, and John Hunter Nemechek still with the most, having 5 wins on the campaign. 1 win apiece for Chandler Smith, Sammy Smith, and Jeb Burton as well, which means that we have currently 8 different winners in the NASCAR Xfinity Series as far as Xfinity Series regulars go. 4 drivers can lock themselves in off of points the way the standings look currently. Josh Berry's 110 points to the good and actually has a chance to mathematically point his way into the playoffs today, even if he doesn't get a win. Sheldon Creed plus 60 points above the cutoff line. That's 1 full race. Masterful job at Daytona last week. Had a great car. Did a great job keeping it up towards the front all day long. Got a lot of stage points, race points for his finishing position, and that has put him pretty comfortably above the cutoff line and now up to 7th in the regular season standings. Daniel Hemrick also had a good run at Daytona. He is now plus 56 points above the cutoff line, sitting 8th overall in the regular season standings. And the tight battle between Parker Kligerman and Riley Herbst continues. Only this time it is Parker Kligerman above the cutoff line and Riley Herbst the first driver out. Herbst has been free-falling over the last month and a half to 2 months on the season, and as a result, he has dropped from as high as 5th in the regular season standings just 2 months ago, now down to 11th. But that does not mean he is in the 12-man playoff because there are 2 drivers with wins behind him, so that's why Herbst is the first driver below that cutoff line. He's only 20 points behind Parker Kligerman, easy to make up in 2 races, but he and the 48 have been pretty equal on speed as of late races. The good news is for Herbst, got 2 intermediate tracks coming up next. That's maybe the worst thing that the Parker Kligerman 48 bunch could hope for, because their strong suit has been the road courses and super speedways, and as for the regular season, all those kinds of racetracks are now in the rear view mirror. As for drivers who are even further below the cutoff line, they're all pretty much in a must-win situation. Brandon Jones has had an abysmal season in his first year with JRM. He's 88 points below the cutoff line again with 2 races left. So he's not mathematically out of it by points, but it's more than likely going to take a win for him to get in. Same goes for Brett Moffitt, who is 15th in the regular season standings, and of course everybody else further behind them outside the top 15 in points. Coming into this race, so that was the point standings. We'll take a look at the starting lineup for today's Sports Clip Haircuts VFW 200. As for this race, John Hunter Nemechek will be on the pole. Denny Hamlin will start outside of the front row in second. He'll be driving the 19 car for Joe Gibbs Racing today, a car that has won with 2 different drivers already this season, and being Ty Gibbs and Ryan Truex. So Hamlin trying to be the 3rd winner in that car and trying to go for another Xfinity win right here at Darlington as well. Justin Allgaier and Cole Custer will start in row 2. Again, we'll have to watch Allgaier out for that regular season championship. He's putting himself in a good spot here as of late. Sam Mayer and Daniel Hemrick will line up in row 3. Mayer with 2 wins last month, going to try to go, or in the last month, but going to try to go for a third in his first on an oval this afternoon. Josh Berry and Brandon Jones will be in row 4. Jones came very close to a win here last season and did, in fact, win this very race back in 2021, so we'll see if he can back that up with a win today to get himself into the postseason. Austin Hill, the points leader coming into the day, is 9th on the starting grid with Chandler Smith to the outside of him in row number 5. Sammy Smith and Kyle Larson will be in row number 6 rather, in the 11th to 12th place starting positions. Larson making yet another Xfinity start this season. He is still looking for his first win in the NASCAR Xfinity Series so far this year. As for Kyle Busch and Riley Herbst, they will end up lining up in the next row as... and I apologize for that. Kyle Larson actually won at Darlington back in the spring, so he's looking to not only get the Darlington sweep, but go for his second win of the season as well. Parker Kligerman and Kyle Busch will be in row 7 behind him. Busch, another Cup regular that is in the field today. He is making, I believe, his 6th start of the season, which I thought that they could only make 5, but this is his 6th start for the Xfinity Series, so not sure what the ruling is there, but he is in the 10 card today. Interested to see how he will do. That is a car that Ross Chastain nearly won with 2 years ago in this very race. Riley Herbst and Sheldon Creed will be in row 8. Creed came very close to that first career win at this track a season ago in this very race. Was unable to get the job done, but I would expect him to have a pretty strong car today. We'll have to watch him come from the middle of the pack. Corey Heim and Brett Moffitt will be in row number 9 for the starting spots in this one. Parker Retzlaff and Ryan Sieg will be in row 10. Ross Chastain and Raja Carruth will be in row number 11. Chastain will be last of the 4 Cup Series regulars through qualifying entering today's race. Anthony Alfredo, Jeb Burton will be in row 12. Kyle Sieg, Jeremy Clements in row 13. Stephen Parsons, Kyle Weatherman in row 14. Timmy Hill, Kaz Grala will be in row 15. That's your top 30. On back behind them will be Matt Mills and Chad Fincham in row 16. Joe Graff Jr., Blaine Perkins in row 17. Ryan Ellis, Josh Williams in row 18. I got that messed up here. Brandon Poole, Matt Mills will be in row 16. Chad Fincham, Joe Graff Jr. in row 17. I missed Joe Graff. Blaine Perkins, Ryan Ellis will be in row... I'm messing this up now. 16, and then row 17, Josh Williams and Patrick Emmerly. So, that is your starting grid for the race. Sorry, I kind of messed it up there right at the very end. Sherry Hicks, Terry Lewis, Wade Selinsky, Rick Craver, Michael Turner, and others. Welcome into the stream. Got over 40 people watching already. 14 likes. Our goal will be 100 likes for the stream today, per usual for these Xfinity and Truck Series live commentary streams on the channel. Actually got to get the race going on my phone here because I don't have it up right now. Car's still on pit road for the time being for some more late pre-race announcements. Here is the NBC crew. You can watch the race on the USA Network today if you're wondering what channel the race is on cable-wise. Again, USA Network.
A new focus. So what do they want to accomplish this weekend at Darlington? Closing the gap even more in the regular season point standings. He is 27 points out of that first position. And Marty, they have a real opportunity to get that lead position with him being a 2-time winner at Darlington.
Well, Kim, speaking of that, 27 points may not seem like a big lead for Austin Hill, but it's the biggest lead anyone's had in the last 6 races. Talking to Austin and his crew chief, Andy Street, they told me, I know that we'll be good at the next 2 tracks. The problem is the other drivers will as well. Biggest goal for us today and next week at Kansas, not make any mistakes. If we do that, we can win the regular season title. Let's get the engines cranked in Darlington.
And now, race fans, here to say the most famous words in motorsports. Please welcome the Director of Programs for Veterans of Foreign Wars of the United States, Lynn W. Rolfe III.
On behalf of Sport Clips and the Veterans of Foreign Wars, proudly proclaimed, drivers, start your engine!
I got it. Put it up. Pretty good. Talk a little bit. A lot of.
Big engines are fired out on pit road, but Jeff and I, we're over here in turn 3, and you're looking at this fence already with some marks on it from practice and qualifying today. It's easy to do. The fast way around this racetrack is putting your car right here. Sometimes you're going to hit that wall, Jeff, and it's easy to do.
It is easy to do. One of the reasons why is check out this asphalt. This is part of the beauty of this racetrack. Look how thick these rocks are. They stick out of the asphalt. And what does that do? It absolutely rips the tires apart. So every time you drive into this corner, it's pulling speed out of the car, and you as a driver got to adjust. You do it wrong, boom, you get to that wall. When we come back, we're going green.
Can't wait for this race today. We have had pretty much instant classics the last 3 to 4 races here for the Xfinity Series at Darlington, and I would not be shocked if we have yet another one here today. Ryan Jensen, also welcome into the stream, Kathleen Schwartz, and Sputtermouth, and thanks for that $4 super chat as well there, Sputtermouth. He's saying let's go. He's pumped for the race today, so am I. Anytime I can bring you the action on a weekly basis, I get pumped about it. Giving you guys my best commentary possible for the race, getting to watch the race with you guys every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whenever they're racing during the course of the weekend. And we got a triple header coming up next week with Kansas. Truck Series will be back, and it will be 3 separate days instead of running a Truck Xfinity doubleheader like we've seen for most of the summer months. So it'll be a Friday night, Saturday afternoon, and a Sunday afternoon next week. So again, that'll be pretty fun to watch also. Be sure, again, hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to 5,000 subscribers on the channel. The goal at the beginning of the year was to get there before the end of the season, and we are down to just the final 10 races for the Cup Series starting tomorrow night. So let's get on that, and we'll try to break that goal here by the end of the year. And also, again, hit the like button. Helps the streams out a ton. It gets them recommended or more likely to be recommended under other related NASCAR content on YouTube that you, the fans, may watch. So for that reason as well, definitely hit that like button. Also, of course, if you enjoyed the stream today, definitely want to hit it as well. Have F1 diecasts? Yeah, well, we usually do a diecast showing at the end of Stage 2, so I've got one right here on hand, getting ready for that. So tomorrow we will go live for a pre-race show as we usually do, roughly half hour to 45 minutes before the drop of the green flag for every Cup race. We do the pre-race predictions. We're going to have maybe an extra long prediction video for tomorrow, or not video, but before the stream we're going to be having a little bit of an extra long one because I will be making my playoff predictions for the NASCAR Cup Series tomorrow as well. So not only we're going to have race predictions, but I'll have some playoff predictions for you guys before that starts tomorrow night.
Cars rolling off of pit road. A great opportunity for us to talk with the pole winner, John Hunter Nemechek. Steve, let's dial him up on the radio.
So we get him on the radio here. Hey, John Hunter, it's the NBC booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, boys.
Well, man, congratulations in qualifying. You got the best place to start the race, but it's at one of the most difficult racetracks we see all year long. Explain to the fans listening and watching from home just what makes Darlington so difficult.
Yeah, I have found to really like this place. The first time I came here, I hated it because I couldn't figure it out, but man, the racetrack, the surface is old, it's abrasive, tires wear out really fast. I think you have 2 or 3 seconds of fall off over the course of a run. The fast way normally is right up against the fence, running a couple inches off the fence. So trying to run that all day, keep the right side clean, just try not to make mistakes. It's a difficult racetrack, but it's a driver's racetrack. I thoroughly enjoy it.
Well, it's funny, all the drivers enjoy the most difficult tracks so close in the spring, but you told me earlier today that you learned something from that you're going to bring today to make sure you get it all the way to the checkered flag. What's the key to today?
Don't get beat. Just stay on top of the racetrack all day. Stay in front of the way that the racetrack is going to head adjustment-wise. Stack field today with a bunch of Cup guys. I did get beat, like you said, in the spring, so I had to go to work and figure some things out. Hopefully it pays off today.
Well, you've done it 5 times so far this season. Good luck. We'll be cheering you on. The fans will be cheering you on. Appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. Hopefully this Pi Barker Toyota GR Supra is as fast as Xfinity 10G.
Well, he already showed us he's pretty fast by winning the pole. Let's have a look at today's starting grid, brought to you by Sport Clips. As John Hunter mentioned, he's up front, 5 wins already this season. He was leading at the white here in May, but ended up finishing in 5th. He'll start next to 5-time Xfinity Series winner Denny Hamlin.
Yes, he's Sam Mayer. He's going to have to go to the back behind him. Josh Berry in that JRM car starting next to a teammate. Sammy Smith also going to the back. Damage in qualifying. Kyle Larson. We don't see him in a whole lot of Xfinity races. He'll be driving the 17 for Hendrick today.
Yeah, right behind them, that row, 7th. Parker Kligerman so much on the line as far as the playoffs are concerned. He's right next to the winningest Xfinity Series driver in the history of the series with Kyle Busch.
You see Ross Chastain, another Cup regular, back in row 11. Behind him, Anthony Alfredo and Jeb Burton. Jeb already a winner. He's in the playoffs, trying to build a little momentum before they start in a couple weeks.
All the way to the rear, we've got Perkins, Ellis, Williams, and Eberling. They will be in row 18 and 19. Let's go back to pit road. Dave.
Rick, we were looking at that orange and white 48 for Parker Kligerman, and what a week it's been. After a 4th place at Daytona last week, he has jumped back above the cut line. He's now plus 20 with 2 races remaining. Talked to his crew chief, Patrick Donahue, this morning. He said the day has been great. We started out in practice better than we have all season. It's not like us. We were second fast in practice and then qualified 13th. Parker looking strong to start today, Kim.
In a spring Darlington race, Sam Mayer led 35 laps before finishing 8th. So what can we expect from him and the team today? Sam said the JRM cars have always been good here, but this year their cars feel the best they ever had at Darlington. He said he's been studying a lot of in-house film in terms of really honing in on how to run the wall best here, what works, what doesn't, to become more comfortable with that high line, and maybe a little too comfortable because he hit the wall in practice and qual, so we'll have to go to the rear for unapproved adjustments. I talked to Sam, Marty, right before he hopped in the car, and he said he's unfazed by having to drop to the rear, thinks they have a car that can pick through the field.
Kim Sheldon Creed is on a roll, back-to-back second-place finishes, and finished second in this race last year here at Darlington. What does he love so much about this track? Well, this morning he said, quote, "I love you can be so creative here." To which 5-time Darlington winner Dale Jarrett said, "I've never heard anyone in all my years describe Darlington as a place where you can be creative." He's going to have to be creative behind the wheel this afternoon. He told me the car was an absolute handful in practice and qualifying, extremely free. Sheldon Creed should be quick, but he's going to be entertaining to watch for sure, Rick.
Yeah, we see cars making their way onto pit road now, checking their pit road speed. And a couple cars, it's not Throwback Weekend, but there are a few here that are playing Throwback Weekend, and that is Alpha Prime. Their paint schemes on the left there, John Andretti in that 43. On the right, Adam Petty in the 45 as far as the throwbacks. Let's bring in Kyle Petty. It looks like Petty Enterprises is well represented here, Kyle.
Yes, it is. And listen, I showed my dad these pictures earlier in the week. He thought they were our race cars, that we were bringing them down here to run the Xfinity race. Alpha Prime and Tommy Joe Martin did a great job. Rajah Caruth is in one of the cars. Ryan Ellis is in the other car. Good luck to those guys. I know every Petty fan out there are going to be pulling for those 2 cars today.
They look great, Kyle. That's right. And they do have a lot of fans that will be cheering them on. And Steve, I want to take a look at the race analysis for this one.
Well, it's only 200 miles, 147 laps. This is really a sprint, even in the Xfinity Series, one of the shortest races of the year. Stage 1 and 2, both 45 laps. That final stage, 57 laps. The fuel window, okay, so they can run 65 or 70, 0 chance. They're going to want to try to run that on a set of Goodyear tires. So I don't expect to see pit stops in 1 or 2, but that last stage, they have 4 sets of tires, so they can put a set of tires on at some point if they get yellows, even 2 sets. A little bit different than what we normally see in Xfinity.
Before this race starts, I'm sure every team probably wants to listen in on the pep talk that the 7 team gets, because Justin Allgaier's won here twice. Let's listen in.
It'll be a fight today. Come on. I ate my Wheaties this morning. We're good. I need y'all's help all day. It's not going to be easy. I'm going to probably get frustrated at some point. Anything y'all can do to help keep me just as calm as possible will be a big help.
Is that possible, Steve? Can you be calm at Darlington?
I think the great ones are. I think that's the key, is the challenges are real, but they're the same for all of them. And I think the best drivers here at this track have accepted that what they're feeling is uncomfortable for everyone, and if they find their own way to deal with it, that's how you kind of lead to success.
There's still 2 races remaining in the regular season, and so there's a couple battles taking place as we take a look at the playoff standings. Nemechek, Hill, Allgaier, Custer, Mayer, all with multiple wins already, but a real dogfight down there, 12th, 13th, right around that cut line. Drivers, what are you seeing here in this playoff?
Well, Riley Herbst has just been bleeding points lately. They've had all kinds of issues, all kinds of mechanical problems the last few races. They've got to get that stopped. I think he has the speed to take it to Kligerman and Creed and Hemrick, but there's only a few races left. You got to start getting really good finishes.
2 by 2, the field behind Nemechek and Hamlin, making up row number 1.
About to get going here in the second to last race of the regular season for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. John Hunter Nemechek, who's the pole sitter, elects the outside lane for this initial start. His teammate for today, Denny Hamlin, and the Sports Clip car in the Sports Clip race will be on the inside row. A lot of fans on hand for this race. They know it's going to be a thriller. It's a holiday weekend. Let's kick start it with a bang. Green flag is in the air. We're underway in the Xfinity Series for the second race at Darlington this season. Heading down into turns 1 and 2, Justin Allgaier going all the way down to the apron, trying to pull to the inside of Denny Hamlin, nearly 3 wide in the center of the corners of 7, almost got into the back of the 19. John Hunter Nemechek will be easily clear off turn 2 by about 2 to 3 car lengths on Cole Custer, who takes over the second place position, and still 2 by 2 in the back half of the top 10 around Josh Berry and his teammate Brandon Jones. Austin Hill also underneath Chandler Smith in the 16. Hamlin trying to get back alongside Cole Custer, can't quite get there in the middle of 3 and 4, drops back in line behind him, still in front of the 7 car, near contact further back in the pack as they're almost 3 wide into turn 1 outside the top 20. First lap of the race led by John Hunter Nemechek. Cole Custer still remains in second place, Denny Hamlin third, Justin Allgaier fourth, and Daniel Hemrick rounds out the top 5 through the first lap. Riley Herbst, Parker Kligerman, the 2 bubble drivers, now running side by side for position. Outside the top 10 to start the race, battling for 12th currently, so not looking at stage points for the position they're running in now, but trying to move forward through these first 45 laps to get there. 45 laps in the first 2 stages of the race today, 57 laps in the final stage, so roughly similar lengths through all the stages in this one. And as you heard, each of these teams get 4 sets of tires for this race, which is going to be very vital if we get, or when we get, the cautions that could be expected in today's event. Sheldon Creed kind of stuck right now, middle of the pack, 15th place. Right about where he qualified. Herbst still on the inside of Parker Kligerman. They've been side by side for about 2 consecutive laps now. It's allowed everybody in front of them to pull away. Herbst seems maybe a little bit quicker than the 48, but he just can't complete the pass down on the bottom. And Kligerman holding on again. Austin Hill still on the inside of Chandler Smith as well. They've been side by side for a few laps now also. Connor Mosack tried to move down to the inside to pass Riley Herbst for position after he couldn't get by Kligerman, and he failed to make the pass on the 98 as well. Hill trying to get all the points he can as he comes in as a regular season points leader. Both Nemechek and Allgaier running in front of him in the early going of the race based off their qualifying positions from earlier this morning. Hill a little loose off turn 2, almost sideswiped the 16 to his outside. Great job by Smith keeping it off the wall. And now Cup Series veteran Kyle Busch will move to the inside of his teammate Smith for today and may be able to get around the 21 of Austin Hill as well. He'll clear the 16 car. He'll try to side draft the 21 on the front stretch. That's not going to be to any avail as the 16 is going to try to power back to the outside into turn 1. Busch all the way to the bottom, slides wide, and Chandler Smith will pull clear of Busch once again. 1/10 of a second lead at the front of the field for John Hunter Nemechek over Cole Custer. Hill charging hard in the braking zone, entering turn 3. Brandon Jones up on the outside lane of the racetrack, trying to defend his position for right now. Jones in a must-win situation to make the playoffs, so the stage points maybe don't mean a lot, but try to hang on for all the track position he can, in the hopes that they can get that car where he wants it to be before the end of this race from a handling standpoint. Everybody going to be struggling with handling conditions in this hot, slick racetrack today. Already difficult to drive it of itself, let alone with the climate of the area. Big loose moment by Daniel Hemrick. And Josh Berry got loose trying to keep it off of the 11 car as well. Kyle Larson had to check out behind both cars. Larson is able to pass Hemrick for position, so was Berry. 17 of Larson behind the 8 currently. Checking out a replay of what might have went down there. Hemrick got very loose, barely kept it off the wall, and did make contact with the 8 car of Berry, who was also yawed out with that rear corner panel. The right rear specifically, and they did a great job not wrecking each other there, really, as they were both sideways off of turn 4. Kyle Larson now trying to overtake the 8 car of Josh Berry. Looks to the outside, cuts to the bottom in the center of turns 1 and 2. Great diamond cut to the corner there by Larson as he takes Berry to school and also takes away the 5th place position. First time Kyle Larson has broken into the top 5 here in the first 10 laps of the race. An 8/10 of a second lead still for Nemechek over Cole Custer at the front of the field. Denny Hamlin's now 1.4 seconds off the lead in 3rd. Justin Allgaier remains in 4th, 1.9 seconds off the lead. Kyle Larson, after taking over 5th place, is 4 seconds off the lead. 4.5 seconds back is Josh Berry in 6th. Daniel Hemrick in 7th, 4.8 seconds off the lead. Austin Hill at 8th place, 5.8 seconds off the lead. Brandon Jones is 6.1 seconds back. And 9th and Chandler Smith rounds out the top 10. He's 6.5 seconds back.
Watch their line and see where they're making speed. It's their car, but sometimes things they're doing on the racetrack, and that's a great driver right there in that 17, Kyle Larson, to be following and understanding what, making adjustments to your line to try to find more speed.
Larson, after starting 12th, has made his way already up into the top 5, running in that 5th position, still 3.7 seconds behind race leader John Hunter Nemechek out front for the first 10 laps here.
So Nemechek out in front. We'll go through a full field running order rundown here as we're 10 laps into the race. Again, John Hunter Nemechek in the race lead. Looks like caution's out for the first time on the speedway. So we'll hold off on that for a quick second. Caution is out right after they cut to commercial. Nemechek has led the first 11 laps of the race from the pole. And we'll wait to see on our leaderboard as of exactly what the caution is for. This was moments after they cut to the commercial, too. Got about 90 people watching already on the stream. Just getting started here on the Saturday afternoon. Labor Day weekend in the U.S. Zachary Wall, thanks for tuning in. Thank you for doing this, truck driver, and this helps. Yeah, awesome, man. You're probably working all the time. My grandpa's a truck driver, so appreciate you listening to this stream on the road. Mike H, welcome to the stream. Also, he's pulling for KB, it looks like. Hopeful, welcome into the stream. I don't think I shouted you out earlier. You can vote for who you think will win the race today in the poll that is in the chat. 41 votes have been casted so far. We close these polls at the end of stage 2, so you'll have until lap 90 out of 147 to place your vote. Currently, Kyle Larson leads the poll at 39%, other at 34% close behind. Denny Hamlin only getting 10% of the votes so far, and your current race leader, John Hunter Nemechek, with 17% of the votes. Again, we are under caution for the first time, and it looks like it was on lap 11. Still not sure exactly what the caution is for. And there's a good chance this could bring cars onto pit road, although a lot of the drivers at the front of the field may try to save a set of tires and stay out, keep the track position. But even 10 laps into this race, there will be a major differential in speed on fresh tires versus old. Looks like the 18 car, Sammy Smith's on pit road, so I wonder if he may have caused the spin, which is why we're under caution.
Start a free trial today. The 18, Sammy Smith, is on pit road right now under caution, and this is why.
Yeah, trying to leave turn 4 and goes the throttle up, and the car just comes around on him. Here we go, great shot.
Yeah, this is on board the 45 Rajah Caruth, and he's waiting on the 18. He got a little slide job there, and he's just kind of waiting on the 18, but the 18 gets really loose, arrow loose. Sliding up in front of the 45.
Yes.
Marty, what you got on the 18 car?
Yeah, Junior, you nailed it. He said I was already way too free in the first place. Sammy Smith came on the radio and told Jeff Mendering, his crew chief. And then he said when the 45 got behind me, it just made it all worse. So you're right, just way too arrow loose. The problem, though, Steve, this will now put them down a set of tires versus the rest of the field. And that's everything here at Darlington, fresh Goodyear rubber.
Yeah, down a set of tires, and if they would have been able to stay on the lead lap, I think they almost could have won the stage from last, burning that extra set of tires. But I believe he lost a lap. So Jeff and now Sammy Smith, this is going to sound crazy, but he just needs to go nice and easy on this set of tires and hope he gets a quick caution for the free pass.
Yeah, just save these tires. Just stay where you are. And this has been a problem for this team lately. This is 6th straight race they've had an accident, and team got off to a good start, but lately it's been tough sledding.
We have a restart. When we come back to Darlington Raceway, Sammy Smith, early slide here.
So spin for Sammy Smith off turn 4. He did nose the left front of his race car into the inside retaining wall, which has caused a caution for the first time in the race. Sure to hit that like button. Again, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content if you haven't yet. Still in stage 1. Again, just 14 laps in. Race going smoothly otherwise, though, so far. A lot of slipping and sliding going on as expected coming into the race. Frank Powers, also welcome into the stream. Regine Huddleston, also thanks for tuning in today. Viewers roughly right now. 32 likes already. Quick trajectory to get to 100. Appreciate that. Top 10 under caution. Pretty much everybody stayed out of the pits when pit road was open there. John Hunter Nemechek, your race leader. Cole Custer, 2nd. Denny Hamlin will restart 3rd. Justin Allgaier in 4th. Kyle Larson, 5th. Josh Berry, 6th. Daniel Hemrick in 7th. Austin Hill, 8th. Braden Jones, 9th. And Chandler Smith is 10th place. Once again, lap 45 will be the finish of stage 1. That I can guarantee you that we will have pit stops during. Unless we get a caution within a few laps before the end of the stage, in which we get just a few lap restart. In that case, we might see drivers pit early, but this caution even too early for them to even think about pitting just 10 laps in. Saving that set of tires here to the very end of the race. Yep, Sammy Smith spinning is the reason for the caution. Car just got loose. Tried to pull a slide job maneuver pass on the 45 of Raja Caruth. And that would have been right around 23rd, because that's where Caruth's running right now.
On NBC in Peacock, West Virginia versus number 7 Penn State. It's the premiere of Big Ten Saturday night. You're watching NASCAR Xfinity Series from Darlington, the Sport Clips VFW 200. John Hunter Nemechek is out front. A few cars at the back of the field came to pit road. The caution came out for Sammy Smith spinning in the 18. So now it's Nemechek, Custer, Hamlin, Allgaier, and Larson, the top 5.
Looks like the inside lane going to get taken by Nemechek this time. He had the outside lane for the initial start, but taking the bottom for this restart on lap 17. Custer to the outside of the front row. Green flag back in the air. Great launch on the inside lane for Nemechek. And he's going to be able to pull clear of Cole Custer, so he must have figured something out of that restart that he felt that it was going to be more beneficial for him to go to the bottom. It's going to work out. He's got a quick clearance for the race lead. And really the top 3 single file as Allgaier got loose off turn 2. Might have snagged the wall. 3 wide underneath them going into turn 3 between Daniel Hemrick, Austin Hill, and himself. 3 wide behind him as well around the 16, 48, and the 98. Hill going to lose a few spots on that bottom lane. Josh Berry to push his teammate Justin Allgaier clear for 3rd. Berry may get to 4th around Hemrick before they get into turn 1, and it looks like he's going to be able to do so. Hemrick slides up and nearly crowds the 21 of Hill into the wall now. Huge gaggle of cars right now just outside the top 5 and a little further on back as they're all trying to hang on to their own cars, let alone trying to keep it off each other. A lot of passing for position that has gone on between position 6 through 10 since the restart already. Still trying to get organized back there. A couple of the colleague cars side by side of Hemrick and Smith, and Kyle Busch, the third colleague car in the number 10 today, right behind both of them. Hemrick losing a few spots off that restart. He was right behind the 7 and then kind of jumped into that middle lane, which would have went into turn 1 after Allgaier got initially loose. Cole Custer running down our race leader, John Hunter Nemechek, right now and putting a little bit of pressure on him. So is Kyle Larson in the 17, who's got an even bigger run on Custer, who may have overdrove the middle of turns 3 and 4. Got close to that outside wall. Larson running against the wall pretty much all the way around the corner, trying to make speed that way. No surprise, Larson running the cushion as he typically does. Doesn't matter the series or the track. That line is available. He is going to try to use it to his advantage. Guy's an absolute wheelman. Won the Knoxville Nationals running that same line just a few weeks ago in the World of Outlaw Sprint Car Racing world. So Nemechek has still led every lap now, 20 laps complete, 25 to go in this stage. Cole Custer right in front of Kyle Larson. Larson still trying to make a move and make a pass on the 0-0. Not going to be able to do it that time, but still closes the gap through turns 1 and 2. Larson runs more off the wall in 1 and 2 than what he does in 3 and 4. Turning off the wall in the center of the corner, trying to get some clean air, really, I think is the reason why he's been doing that the last couple of corners. So that way, if he does get tight, he's got more of a clearance from the outside wall versus running right against it anyway. And when I say right against it, I don't mean that he's physically touching the wall all the way around the corner, but he's getting pretty darn close. Larson again cutting to the bottom. That time he had both his left side tires down below the white hashed line on the inside. Showing a close-up on the 9 car of Brandon Jones, who has lost a few spots since the restart. He was running 8th before the caution, now 14th. And a replay of him getting loose over drive of the entry into turn 3, making contact with the 24 of Mosak. And Mosak actually got squeezed into the wall there, so that's part of the reason why Jones had lost a little bit of ground. But even before that, he had lost a couple positions there those first few laps in the restart when we had that gaggle of 2 and 3 wide race cars. So the battle for second between Custer and Larson continues. They're about a second off the lead from John Hunter Nemechek as they continue to battle. Nemechek slowly pulling away, and Denny Hamlin from 4th place of the 19 car is also starting to slowly reel these guys in. In 3 and 4, Larson going to complete the pass for second. Custer trying to get a run off the high side to get back underneath him, but it's not going to happen. Denny Hamlin now going to try to attack on Custer for 3rd. Custer trying to keep up with the 17 of Larson. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. And Larson quickly now within a half a second and closing on our race leader, John Hunter Nemechek. Hamlin and Larson had a thriller in the 2021 Southern 500 on this Labor Day weekend just 2 years ago, where Hamlin got another Darlington win, I believe the 6th of his career, and the 4th Southern 500 victory of his career. Both of those drivers know how to win at this racetrack, although for Larson he has never won a Cup Series race at Darlington. It was very close in the spring, battling late with Chastain on those late race restarts. Over-aggressiveness maybe got the better end of both drivers, and Larson going to try to redemptify himself tomorrow night. But as for today, he's going to try to sweep the Xfinity Series races here by winning the spring race at Darlington earlier this year. And in fact, that was actually the first win for Larson at this racetrack in any series in NASCAR. Got to within a half a second of the lead after passing John Hunter Nemechek, but he hasn't been able to bring the gap a little bit closer than that. You wonder if he maybe has used his tires up just a little bit, passing the few cars he already has to this point in the run, and Nemechek having nothing but clean air in front of him for this entire race. No pressure on the start or restart for Nemechek of potentially losing the lead as well, so he's doing well for himself. 20 laps to go in Stage 1 currently.
A stacked field drivers, right? It's not, oh, hey, Cup guys. It's a group of Cup regulars that are some of the best.
Yeah, John Hunter Nemechek knows that one of those great race car drivers is coming from behind, so John's got to try to step it up, and when he does it, here we go. We're going to get a little Darlington stripe right there. That's what happens. You go try to find a little more speed, and then the next thing you know, this is going on. You know, I think it's great experience, though, Kim, for Nemechek racing with Larson. I just think it makes Nemechek better.
Absolutely, and that's what John Hunter told me this morning. This 1-2 position of John Hunter in first and Larson in second is reminiscent of the end of the race in the spring here with Larson coming out on top. And I asked John Hunter what he learned from that, and he said, when the Cup guys run this race, it makes me a better driver. He said, I got schooled in the spring. He said he knows exactly how he got beat in the spring. He watched film, he looked at data, and in terms of knowing exactly what to do, so it doesn't happen again if he's in the same position.
John Hunter Nemechek right now with just a little over a half-second lead over Kyle Larson. Then it's Hamlin, Custer, and Allgaier in the top 5.
We'll go further than that with our first full field running order rundown of the race. 17 laps to go in stage 1. Currently lap 29 of 147 overall. Nemechek with a 0.6 of a second lead that last time to the start-finish line over Kyle Larson in second. Denny Hamlin's up to third, passing Cole Custer, who is now in fourth, and Justin Allgaier rounds out the top 5. Austin Hill up to 6th place, Josh Berry in 7th, Daniel Hemrick 8th, Kyle Busch 9th, and Riley Herbst rounds out the top 10. Chandler Smith in 11th, Parker Kligerman 12th, Brett Moffitt 13th, Brandon Jones 14th, and Jeb Burton is 15th. Sheldon Creed in 16th, Parker Retzlaff 17th, Sam Mayer 18th, 19th is Jeremy Clements, and Ryan Sieg is 20th. Ross Chastain in 21st, Anthony Alfredo 22nd, Kaz Gralla 23rd, Kyle Seagan 24th, Chad Fincham 25th, Raja Crew 26th, Matt Mills 27th, Stephen Parsons 28th, Brennan Poole in 29th, Joe Graff Jr. is 30th. Ryan Ellis in 31st, Patrick Emmerling 32nd, Blaine Perkins 33rd, Timmy Hill in 34th. 35th place behind Hill is Josh Williams. He's the last car in the lead lap. Sammy Smith after a spin is 36th, 1 lap down. Kyle Weatherman 37th, and Corey Heim is 38th. Heim in the 24 car today, not Connor Mosack. I apologize for that. He was who got squeezed into the wall when Brandon Jones got loose on the inside lane not that long ago. So 15 laps left in this first stage. Once again, be sure to hit that like button. Subscribe for more daily NASCAR content if you haven't yet. Kika Stewart, Inside Uranus, and Deb Rosella, thanks for tuning into the stream. Araldo Custodio and Bentley Potts also welcome in. Got about 100 people watching already in this one. Appreciate it, everyone. Up to 39 likes as well. Again, our goal is 100 likes. We'll take our first ad break of the race, and we will get back to the Stage 1 action on the other side of the commercial break. You're listening live on KRC to this NASCAR Xfinity Series event at Darlington. $14 to go now in this first stage, and Nemechek still holds about an 0.8 of second lead over Kyle Larson. Trying to hang on to that here. Receive another playoff point. 10 regular season points, which is crucial for where he's at right now. Again, he came in 28 points behind Hill. As they run right now, he would beat Hill by 5 points, and he was behind 1 point of Allgaier, and he would beat him by 4 based off of where the 7 and the 21 are behind him in the running order.
Here comes Kyle Busch in the 10, trying to get by Josh Berry. He's not going to be able to make it this time by. Races him door to door, maybe even a little contact made there between the two. As Riley Herbst comes up behind the 8. This time, Kyle Busch will clear him.
Riley Herbst is trying to get by this 8 car. He's sitting there running in 10th, but we know how important points are to him. That cleared him by Berry up into 9th place. He's run Busch down, actually, and currently he's got Parker Kligerman in 12th. So with 12 to go, there's some more points that Riley Herbst could go get.
These two got together just a second ago right there.
Kyle Busch was loose on the exit of 4 and just got into the side of Berry.
Yep. Talking to Berry, listening to Berry's radio, sounds like he's not very comfortable either as he's fading back to the pack, struggling with a loose bounce as well. Everybody's cars are driving bad right now. Even the guy leading the race is not happy with something about the car, wanting some sort of an adjustment, improvement to be made. Marty, what you got on that 8?
Boy, Junior, that's the 4 spot Josh Berry has lost in the last 8 laps. So what's going on? To your point, listen to the radio.
I mean, this thing's awful. It is so loose getting into the corner. I mean, it just ruins it. Ruins both ends. 10-4, loose end, both ends. Yes, I said it's loose end.
There he goes, some frustration developing on the radio for the 8 team. And Jeff, he said it's so loose on entry that it's ruining the exit of the corner as well. Loose on entry, how tough is that here at Darlington?
Yeah, it's really hard, Marty, because you really have to attack these corners. You have to drive in the corner hard, run up to the wall. And even, we saw Larson running right against the wall on corner entry, Hamlin running right against the wall on corner entry. Well, the A-car can't do that or he'll hit it. And there's some speed that he's given up just having to protect a little bit. And then right there in the middle of the corner, if you're loose, you see what happens. You just cannot be aggressive with the throttle and they just drive by you.
I have never tried something this bad in my entire life.
If you roll back the audio from the first race here, I think the comments were similar. They ended up with a top 10. I mean, these are frustrating moments, and you can tell the car doesn't drive good. And when the car doesn't drive good at any track, you get angry, but even more so at a track like Darlington, because a bad handling car, just a little bit off, can be so hard to stay out of the way and even make the lap time.
Under
8 laps to go. Yeah, I was going to say the same thing, Rick. I mean, 8 laps to go, you just try to convince the driver to get it to the finish line of this stage. We'll try to make the adjustments we need to make. There could be a problem. It could be a little slow leak with the tire or something like that that's creating this issue. Try to keep the driver out of the fence, keep him focused on the task at hand.
We know that Josh Berry in the 8 not happy with his car. Dave, what about the 98?
Rick, that was the case for Riley Herbst a little while ago. Listen.
I'm tied up the hill onto one with no front tires, but as I try to give it gas, I have no rear tires either. They're 1 and 2. And for rear grip 4 as well. I didn't say that. I said I got no front going up the hill on 1.
But he's mostly recovered from that and has been moving in the right direction. As for his bubble battle combatant, Parker Kligerman, he has been bad from the start. Tight in the corner, shattering the front tires on both ends, and getting that promise, drivers, you've heard it before, we'll fix you up. Hang on.
I'm impressed, Dave. Bubble battle combatant. I think you can say that 3 times fast.
I'm not going to try, but every driver out there is not happy with their car. That's what Darlington does. The most important thing, and I think some of the frustration you heard out of Josh Berry's radio, was that not that the crew chief heard him, but there was really not maybe the importance or the emphasis on the radio and not sort of compassion of, we hear you, we see it. Where do you stack up? Are you good? Are you bad? Yes, we aren't good. We see with what you're saying. You have to give the driver more than 10-4, I heard it. It's like, man, I'm out here working as hard as I can work. Could you please give me a little bit more enthusiasm than 10-4, I heard it. Now, one driver who's having a fun time is the guy who's on the freshest tires. That's 25 of Moffitt. Started last, and here he is. You talked about points and how valuable they are to the 98. Well, this 25 on fresher tires by about 10 or 12 laps could steal some points away from the 98.
And we saw the 16 up into the wall there just moments ago as Chandler Smith trying to keep it off the wall. Under 4 laps to go now.
Yeah, this is a big battle right here. Steve mentioned the tires on the 25 car. Riley Herbst had caught Kyle Busch and tried to make a pass on him and almost wrecked off of turn 2, and that stacked up these guys behind him, allowed Kyle to get away from him.
Will Moffitt be able to take advantage of those pressure tires and get by these 2 before the green and white checkered flies at the end of stage 1?
Got a car in the fence into turn 1, the 92. It's down on the racetrack, down on the apron now, out of the way. There it is. Right front tire got flat. We saw contact Williams had with the wall in 3 and 4. Drove down the front straightaway into 1, pounded the fence with the car. Caution's out early here.
Probably some debris on the racetrack, so the caution comes out. It looks like that is going to end stage 1. As there are just 3 laps to go in the stage.
Yeah, that was only 1 point. Chandler Smith had just gotten by Riley Herbst, and Riley Herbst was struggling big time. He had Moffitt all over his rear bumper. That caution came out, and it saved Riley Herbst, and he'll earn a point.
So again, Josh Williams and that 92 tire going down for him. So the 30-year-old out of Port Charlotte, Florida, will bring it to the attention of the crew. They're going to take care of that right front. And again, the end of the stage is going to happen here while everybody gets in line. Pit road was closed with 2 laps to go.
Yeah, sorry, Rick. I was just going to say you see the damage, and the whole fender's missing for the 92 of Williams. Damage.
Solid all right here.
Brake
Take the
cooler.
solids all over there. Get it unwrapped. Yeah, 3 up on the 2 in the right rear.
So the threads from the tire wrapping around.
Yeah, what happens, when these tires unwrap like that, you think about a ball of twine that is impossible to tear, right? It's this Kevlar twine that wraps around everything, and even cutting it becomes very difficult because it moves with the saw blade, right? It's not like a piece of pipe in a vise where it's easy to cut. While the saw is definitely sharp enough, you're trying to cut some stuff that's not trying to stay still. And now this is actually a little bit of a break for all these drivers. Now you can ride around for a couple laps, catch your breath, have a good conversation with your crew chief. Remember, practice today was only 20 minutes, 1 set of tires. You were the first cars on the racetrack. The track was green. There was nothing about practice that probably led you in a direction for what you felt so far in this race. So now, normally you would see, end of the stage, 1 lap, okay, pit. They're going to get an extra 5 or 6 minutes here to take this cold drink of water, take a breath, have a more articulated conversation, like, hey, some follow-up questions, maybe have a real good conversation and make these good adjustments as we see the circle on board right here, the 45 of Caruth. In front of him, the 24 had an issue. We saw that 9 get into him earlier in the middle of 1 and 2. Ended up cutting a tire on the 24, so Heim had to pit on the green. He's actually a lap down currently.
31 on the lead lap. Perkins scored 30 seconds. The first car a lap down, and this will be John Hunter Nemechek grabbing his 6th stage win this year, second most. His 2nd stage win at Darlington. So Nemechek wins stage 1, but there were a lot of cars that were a handful in that first stage. 18 around for Sammy Smith, and Hemrick a couple times trying to catch it.
So John Hunter Nemechek wins the 6th stage of the season, winning stage 1 today at Darlington. Couple Cup guys right behind him, finishing 2nd and 3rd in stage 1 of Denny Hamlin P2, Kyle Larson P3. Justin Allgaier gets 7 points for his finishing position of 4th in the first stage. Cole Custer finishes 5th. Austin Hill 6th, Daniel Heinrich 7th, Kyle Busch 8th, Chandler Smith 9th, and Riley Herbst gets that last stage point in the first stage. So that is your top 10, all receiving stage points here. And as far as newcomers into the chat that I haven't shouted out yet, thanks for tuning in. David Conley, Russell Shell, hopefully I said it correctly, Russell Chell or Russell Shell, whatever it is. Kathy Smith, thanks for tuning in also. Tim Mullen, welcome into the stream as well. Timothy Springfield, thanks for tuning in. Cannot see the race. Well, I'm not showing you guys the actual, footage of the race. I'll get copyrighted for that. Stream will get taken down. And I'll give you guys commentary throughout as we have done so far today. Once again, be sure to hit that like button. Subscribe for more daily NASCAR content if you guys have not already. Nemechek has led every lap of this race from the pole so far. Denny Hamlin kind of slowly ran him down, and then he, just like Larson, got to within about a half a second and couldn't get any closer to the 20 car. About 3-4 car lengths, and that's about it. Probably going to need a little bit more tire fall off out of that 20 car or some sort of mishandling conditions for the 20 to try to catch up. Potentially meeting him in the middle by making more adjustments on their own end. And that's where the experience is going to come into play from drivers like Hamlin and Larson running there. Kyle Busch also in the top 10. Probably the most stacked Xfinity field we've had so far this season as far as Cup drivers going down. We've had a couple races this season, particularly on road courses where we've seen a lot of Cup guys, but this race in particular, you just look at the names. Denny Hamlin, a guy that's won here 6 times in the Cup Series. Larson, just probably the most talented race car driver there is, especially in the U.S. nowadays. Kyle Busch, 2-time NASCAR Cup champion in the field today as well. And then you got Ross Chastain, who was in the championship 4 just a season ago. So big names in this race today, and some of these Xfinity Series regulars trying to prove themselves worthy of beating these Cup guys in a one-off kind of event here at Darlington. John Hunter Nemechek going to lead the field onto pit road. First stops of the day.
Check your stage 1 winner. Top left, he went from a little free to really free, especially the exit of 4 air pressure adjustment on those 4 fresh Goodyear tires, as well as the chassis adjustment. You see Justin Allgaier top right. He said, I am on top of the racetrack. I slide the fronts and shear the rears. He asked Jim Pullman, the crew chief, to go back on the adjustment they made for qualifying, Dave.
Cole Custer said his car was unbearable tight after 20 laps. They promised that the adjustments, both air and chassis, will make him a net freer, Marty.
Austin Hill said, we're so strong on the entry of 3 and 4, but I have to baby it through the middle and I'll exit because it will just snap loose on me. Terrific shot there of the 21 car who came in 6, and he will leave with the lead on pit road. What an incredible stop for the 21 bunch, Rick. Gained 5 spots.
Yeah, Marty.
5 positions gained with a 4-tire stop for Austin Hill. Meanwhile, on the backside of that, Justin Allgaier losing 5 positions on a 4-tire stop. Everybody did take 4 tires. Riley Herbst up 4 spots as well. Chandler Smith up +2 on that cycle of pit stops under the caution period. So those were some of the biggest winners, biggest losers on the first pit stops of the day. We'll wait for our running order to cycle through. It recycles, I should say, back around once the race leader gets to the start-finish line every lap. So our leaderboard you show right now isn't quite accurate, but it will be at lap 48. There he goes. So Austin Hill first out of the pits. John Hunter Nemechek, who was the leader, will be second. Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson still up there in the top 5, but then again, Herbst up 4 positions. 5 positions, obviously, for Hill, and -5 for Allgaier. Surprise, Sheldon Creed's been running outside the top 10 throughout this one so far. He did qualify back pretty much where he's running right now, 14th, but he has been a threat to win here the last couple of races, both earlier in the spring and then also last fall at Darlington. This is definitely a racetrack that fits his kind of driving style too. We'll take our second ad break of the race. You're listening live KRC for this NASCAR Xfinity Series race at Darlington. I'm curious to see lap time-wise if these laps on the fresher tires now are going to be quicker than the fastest laps a lot of these drivers ran at the beginning of the race today. We'll get to really see a good gauge of where drivers are maybe at now with their race cars from a handling standpoint versus where they were that first run. Again, they mentioned on the broadcast, and as usual for most of the races this season, only 20-minute practice sessions, so not a lot of time, especially even for some of the Cup guys in the field today, like a Larson and Hamlin. Hamlin, for instance, who hasn't ran an Xfinity race yet this season, maybe just not as familiar with these race cars as the guys that have been running them week in and week out throughout the course of the year. And handling going to obviously matter the most here, probably more so than any other track on the schedule. They're at the choose rule right now, so we'll be going green this time by. Changing up the booth during the Southern 500 tomorrow night for Stage 2. Dale Jr., Dale Jarrett, and Kyle Petty will be in the booth for that one. They've done that for the Southern 500 the last few years. And they'll be doing it again here this weekend as well. Once again, our coverage for tomorrow night's Southern 500 will begin at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So again, 5:30 Eastern tomorrow. We'll go live with our pre-race coverage of the Cookout Southern 500. It'll be the first race, round of 16 for the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. And obviously a crown jewel event in the sport as well. Should be a fun watch. Irene Acer, thanks for tuning into the stream. Field is just getting off of turn 4 right now as the pace car takes the big left-hand turn towards pit road, and we'll get to see what Austin Hill could do. Now, Nemechek's on the inside of row 1. He got to the lead from the inside of row 1 the last restart, but he was the control car. We'll see as the non-control car what he can do underneath Hill. Hill running just a bit off the wall here as they get to the green flag. Going to get a push from behind. Bit of a wheel spin by the 21. And he's going to get put 3 wide now as he squeezes Denny Hamlin up the track multiple times. Hamlin had to let the 21 in before he got squeezed into the wall. And with the contact of those two cars, Cole Custer from the inside of row 2 actually slid up right behind Nemechek to take over second, and John Hunter still out in the lead. So Nemechek has led all the green flag laps today, and then Hill led those few laps after winning the race on pit road during the caution period. Hill trying to take second place back from Cole Custer, trying to get a run off the outside lane. I'm sure Hamlin not going to give the 21 a lot of room if he gets underneath him, considering that he nearly got squeezed into the wall there by Hill. Hill lost 5 points to Nemechek in that first stage as far as the regular season championship battle goes. Try not to lose as many points here in stage 2 with that fast pit stop. And he's going to look to hang on for whatever he can. Brandon Jones, after his loose moment earlier in that first stage as well, tried to get some ground back. 3 wide on the inside of Rutzlaff and his teammate Josh Berry in the middle of 3 and 4. Exit of the corner, there's still 3 wide back there outside the top 10. Berry lost some time on pit road as well. He was in the top 10, ended up restarting 12th, and now he has scored side-by-side for that 12th place position with the 31 of Retzlaff, who's having a pretty solid run so far as he has moved forward after starting outside the top 20. Retzlaff all over the back of the 8 car of Berry. Everybody's still getting situated following the restart. 8 laps into stage 2 overall right now, and an 0.8 of a second lead for John Hunter Nemechek over Cole Custer. Larson and Hamlin, who were 2nd and 3rd in the last stage, are now 4th and 5th with Larson ahead of Hamlin, which was not the case at the end of the last stage. Austin Hill taking 2nd place back over through 1 and 2, sliding up in front of the 00 of Custer. We'll see if he can maybe try to drive after the 20 of Nemechek. Custer just doesn't seem to be quite as fast as some of the other cars around him inside the top 5 so far in the race. Quick closing rate for Kyle Larson to the back of Custer's car off of turn 4. And it looked like contact and 1 car up into the wall off turn 4. Anthony Alfredo in the 78. And caution flag is out, maybe behind them. Our 3rd caution of the day. We had an incident with Sammy Smith at lap 11 spinning, and then Josh Williams, about 2 laps before the end of stage 1, had a flat right front tire, and we're under caution now for the 3rd time at lap 55. Not sure exactly what the caution is for. It was a little bit delayed. I'm not sure if there was debris laid down or not, but it looked like Alfredo got up into the wall. And, yeah, he did. He was actually in the midst of making contact with Sam Mayer. And maybe a little bit of a quick trigger on that caution. Unless something else happened behind them, but not entirely sure. That contact was the reason for the caution. I think it was a little bit of a quick trigger. Looked like Alfredo dove into the corner 3 wide on the bottom, and then when he was sliding up trying to clear one of the cars that he did have clear, he ended up getting into Mayer. Mayer struggled in this one. He started deep in the field. He's been outside the top 20 all day while his teammates pretty much all been running inside the top 10 outside of this last restart where the 8 and the 9 kind of slipped back a little bit at the end of stage 1, but I don't think it's so much from a speed side of things. But either way, we are under caution for the 3rd time. Who has the advantage for the 12th playoff spot? So Parker Kligerman was 20 points ahead of Riley Herbst. Herbst finished 10th in the last stage to Kligerman finishing outside the top 10. I think he was 12th, so no stage points for Parker. That means it was a 19-point differential going into stage 2. And currently Herbst is up to 6th place now, a fast pit stop, and then maintained his positioning on the restart. And Parker Kligerman now inside the top 10 for the first time, up to 10th, but not as high in the running order as a guy he needs to finish ahead of, so we'll just have to see how that, again, is going to play itself out. I'm not going to try to calculate in the stage points and where they're going to finish right now, so I kind of take it one stage at a time. I let the NBC graphics kind of do the work for me if there's anything otherwise as far as points as they run. Mark Witkowski, thanks for tuning in. Picks for today, 21-7-39. Yeah, my pick was Denny Hamlin to win this Xfinity race today. Qualified 2nd. Hasn't quite looked as fast as his teammate John Hunter Nemechek, but we'll see if he's got something for him later in the race. Hamlin has been a contender in this fall race at this racetrack a lot, really. I mean, he came very close to a win in 2021. Battled late with Chastain, and then Chastain and Hamlin got into each other multiple times in the closing laps and allowed for the 9 car, the current driver, the number 9, Brandon Jones, who was in the 19 for Joe Gibbs Racing at the time, to get the win. And then last season, Hamlin was leading and then spun out from the lead after contact with the lap car, and because there was no caution in the final stage, he never got back up in contention to try to win the race. So right now, sitting in 5th, doesn't look quite as strong as he did in each of the last 2 Xfinity races at Darlington that he has ran in, but still a contender nonetheless, being up at the front of the field if drivers ahead of him make mistakes, which could happen, because this is a track that is prone to having drivers do that. Definitely quite a bit of damage on the 1 car of Mayer.
NASCAR Xfinity Series Sports Clip. VFW help a Hero 200. Kim.
You see that left front fender on Sam Mayer's machine broken. They're checking to make sure the tire's not cut. There also was a little bit of right front damage, but their attention going to the left front. That's where the worst damage was. Sam also, you guys documented having radio issues. He came down pit road a second time after stops. That's what put him into position to get part of that wreck. They don't think they've alleviated those radio issues. In fact, Sam, they don't believe, could hear them, so they had the entire pit crew on the pit wall jumping up and down to get Sam's attention to come down pit lane. Sam can also not talk on the radio, so they've got a lot of issues down here in the 1 pit. Marty?
Kim, stage 1 very clean, minus a slight brush for the wall for Kyle Larson. Stage 2, a bit of a different story. Listen in.
He ends up stumbling off of 2 like fuel. Yeah, so far every lap off of 2.
So there you go, Steve. The engine stumbling for Kyle Larson, and he said it was every lap so far here in stage 2. But if you're Greg Ives, is there really anything you can do at this point, Steve?
Write it down in the notebook. Look at it when the race is over. I mean, you're not going to give up track position to mess with it. Remember, these are not fuel injected like the Cup car. These have the old school carburetor on it, and if it does it every single lap off turn 2, you would imagine it's some sort of setting in the carburetor, either float heights or something that's just making it stumble. There's the boss, Mr. Hendrick, on top of the pit box.
So some fuel pickup issues, it sounds like, for Kyle Larson. Interesting that Greg Ives is crew chief in that 17 car today. A little mismatch pairing compared to who they crew chief or drive for in the Cup Series at Hendrick Motorsports. HendrickCars.com paint scheme on Larson's car this weekend, similar to what he would run in the Cup Series in the 5 car with that very said sponsor. We'll be at lap 60 on the restart, which will give us 31 laps to go in stage 2. And overall in the race, we'll have about 88 laps to go as we're counting down the laps very quickly. Again, this is one of the shorter races for distance in the Xfinity Series season. Looking to pick the action back up here very quickly once again. See if anybody can keep up with John Hunter Nemechek on this next restart without losing too much ground in that first corner or so. Looks like Nemechek will be back on the inside of row 1 once again. Hill to the outside of the first row, as he was on the last restart, but only he won't be the control car this time around. It'll be Nemechek who gets the first launch. And Hill again spinning the tires. Larson trying to push the 21, get him going. The 20 still clear going into turn 1. Able to arc the corner off a lot better by moving to the outside in front of Hill before back down to the bottom. And Nemechek's got about a 2-car length lead off turn 2. Larson clear for 3rd off the exit of the corner, getting by Cole Custer, who on the inside of row 2 in the last restart got the 2nd, but he actually lost the spot and falls to 4th now. 3 wide, Parker Kligerman underneath Kyle Busch, Chandler Smith, both the colleague Chevys to the outside. And he is going to pass, it looked like both of them. Great move by Kligerman. No, he did not pass Chandler Smith. It was the 11 car he was in front of. I saw 2 colleague cars back there. But he did clear one of them, got it to stick, picked up another spot, moving from 10th to 9th on the restart. Herbst moved backwards 1 position from 6th to 7th. As the 7 of Allgaier got back around him, Larson challenging Austin Hill for 2nd there initially. Couldn't make the pass. Hill slightly pulled him that last lap as a result. Larson trying to make as quick of work as possible in the 21 so he doesn't have to burn his tires too much trying to make the pass, but Hill's not going to give up that position very easily, knowing it is the 20 car in front of him for that regular season championship battle. 15 playoff points awarded to the regular season champion at the end of next week's race at Kansas. That will be the regular season finale for this series. Josh Berry ripping the outside lane to the racetrack, trying to pull back alongside Jeb Burton in the 27. Not going to happen. Burton's going to slide clear off the exit of the corner. Good run for Jeb up to 13th. Justin Allgaier right behind Hamlin and Custer, who battle for 4th. Allgaier in the outside lane trying to carry the momentum off turn 2. Pulls to the outside of the 19 of Hamlin. Hamlin's been on the bottom of Custer for about a lap and a half or so now. Can't complete the pass. Custer struggling with his race car. Hamlin can't get the drive off, and because of not being able to make the pass, it's going to actually cost him a position and knock him outside the top 5 for the first time today. Allgaier up to 5th and trying to catch up with his counterparts for the regular season championship. Hamlin going to go back to the inside of the 7 car, trying to hang on that left rear corner panel off the exit of turn 2, and can't do it there either. So Hamlin's struggling with his car, seems like, in the bottom lane. It's a very difficult racetrack to make passes on, but he seems to be maybe the least likely to make passes of those that we have seen in the top 5 today when challenging for position. Justin Allgaier now quickly closing on the 0-0, and he's going to try to make the move on Custer for 4th, and if he fails, Hamlin will be right there for the taking, as was Allgaier on the 19 of Hamlin. Nemechek now 0.6 of a second back out ahead of Austin Hill following this restart. 25 laps to go in stage 2 this time by. Allgaier underneath Custer. Middle of the corner, 3 and 4, slides up, barely clear, but he is. Clean pass by the 7, he moves into 4th place, making quick work of Custer. Side by side for position a little further back as Parker Retzlaff will slide up in front of Daniel Hemrick. That is a battle for 10th on the racetrack. And Kyle Busch running back in 12th place now as he has lost 4 spots from where he finished in 8th at the end of stage 1. Right behind his teammate Hemrick right now. Parker Kligerman pulling away from that 3-car battle for the time being, but Retzlaff looking quick as he's just kind of slowly chipping away. Over the course of this race, got very loose off turn 4 was Retzlaff. Right rear corner panel so close to that outside wall as the right rear was hanging out quite a bit. Kyle Busch going to get by his teammate Hemrick now for 11th place. Daniel slipping backwards. Kyle Busch trying to push forward, following a couple of consecutive bad restarts there. And losing a couple spots on pit road didn't help either. And Jeb Burton is also, again, like I mentioned, having a decent run. Trying to get back up there with his teammate Retzlaff. It'd be great if both Jordan Anderson racing cars can somehow find their way into the top 10 as they battle 2 of the Coltley cars right around him right now. A lot of Chevys consecutively in the running order right there between positions 8 and 15. They're all Chevys. 34 cars on the lead lap to this point as well. I didn't mention it, but during that last caution, Sammy Smith did get the free pass, so he is back on the lead lap following his early spin, and he has worked his way back up to 26. He does have a little bit of damage to the left front fender, so aerodynamically, I don't know that he's going to be able to get such a good finish out of it, but we'll see. You never know. He's also down 1 set of tires compared to the rest of the field also, which could be hurting him. If we do end up seeing quite a few cautions in the final stage. If we don't see a lot of cautions in the final stage, I think he'll be alright from a tire standpoint. Hopefully they got that left front fender buffed out and pulled out as much as they could. Kyle Busch tried to go to the inside line well after passing Daniel Hemrick, and by doing that, Hemrick gets such a run off the outside. He's going to blow back past Kyle Busch again. Busch is going to let him go to dive back in line behind him entering turn 1. Which again, more towards that bottom lane, just maybe doesn't feel comfortable with his race car to be able to run the outside the way he wants to. But whatever the case was, he passed Hemrick, and Hemrick gets him right back just a few laps later. So Josh Berry's in a pretty good position right now to clinch a playoff spot, even with running in the 14th place position today. He would clinch off of points if he has more than 60 points ahead of 12th in the standings at the end of the race today. As we run right now, He is currently, looks like 83 points ahead of 12th in the standings. So the way we sit right now, Josh Berry looking good to lock himself into the playoffs for the Xfinity Series despite being winless on the campaign. USA Network going to be heading to a commercial break once again here as we're just shy of the halfway point in today's race. You're listening live on KRC. Your top five, John Hunter Nemechek out in front by 0.7 of a second over Austin Hill. 2 seconds off the lead is Kyle Larson in third. Justin Allgaier in fourth. 2.4 seconds off the lead, and Denny Hamlin back up to fifth place again, repassing Cole Custer. And he is 3.3 seconds back of race leader John Hunter Nemechek. Nemechek has been dominant so far today at Darlington as he has already led 70 laps in this race, and he has led every green flag lap, including, of course, winning Stage 1, which ended under the caution. The only laps he has not led so far today was just 2 laps where Kyle Larson led one on one of the restarts coming to the start-finish line when Nemechek controlled the pace, but Nemechek got the launch and cleared him into turn 1, and then Austin Hill in the 21 car led 2 laps under caution after he had won the race off of pit road leading up to the restart to begin Stage 2. So those are the only 3 laps that Nemechek has not led, but again, all of them under green he has been out in front for. Once again, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. We'll stay right here with our coverage and not take a break quite yet. We'll wait till the end of Stage 2 to do that. Just waiting to get back to the action here for the second stage. See if Nemechek can pick up his 7th stage win of the year, which would put him only 1 behind Allgaier for the most on the season if he can hang on. Be interesting if we get a late caution as to what the pit strategy would be for those drivers battling for the regular season championship. Would they take the stage points, hope they can race their way back to the front in the final stage, or do they take the position and try to get themselves a better finish and sacrifice stage points knowing how close all 3 of them are to each other, especially with Nemechek winning that last stage and being 28 points back of the 3 of those drivers battling for the championship. He was 3rd amongst them coming into the day, and he is looking to try to maximize the stage points by scoring 20 of them rather here through the first 2/3 of the action. College football started up this Saturday. My Michigan Wolverines got the win today, 30-3. Harbaugh suspended for the first 3 weeks, so I wasn't expecting them to put up too many points in the race today. They had a stout defense, which is good. And the offense, when the starters were out there, did look good. The running game, I didn't like the way the offensive line was early with the running game of that one, but hopefully they can get that situated here over the next few weeks while they have a fairly easy schedule at the start of the season, so it's a good time to try to kink that out. Passing looked very strong, though, from J.J. McCarthy today, I will say. He's throwing some dimes out there. Half a second lead now for Nemechek over Hill. The last lap, Nemechek was about a 10th quicker. I don't know if it's lap traffic that maybe has allowed for Hill to close in just a little bit, which could be the case. 34 cars on the lead lap. Anthony Alfredo had a little bit of damage being involved in that last incident as the last car in the lead lap, and he's 5 seconds behind the next closest car to him, which would be Blaine Perkins in the 02, who was a lap down earlier but got the free pass under one of the cautions. 13 to go now in this second stage. John Hunter Nemechek again a half a second out ahead of Hill. Hill, that last lap, still about, not a full 10th slower. It's closer to about 0.07 of a second slower than the race leader. Nemechek's fastest lap was still ran back at lap 2. For Hill and Larson, their fastest laps are off of Stage 2's restart. Same goes for Riley Herbst. So some of the drivers in the top 10 getting a little quicker based off of their setup. So with Hill and Larson now in second or third being just a little quicker than where they were in the last stage, they're just one fine-tune adjustment here during the second stage away from maybe being able to compete with the 20 of Nemechek to the finish of this race. One more guaranteed pit stop the rest of the way, and depending on how cautions may play in the final stage, we may see another pit stop or 2 there, but they have the tires that are applicable to be able to pull off some offsetting strategies if we do see them. More contact that looked like potentially between Brandon Jones and Corey Heim. Remember, Heim got ran into by Jones earlier when Jones had a big slide, and right off the exit of turn 2, looked like Heim just right into the back of the 9, put him up into the outside wall. Corey's did a great job of getting back in the lead lap. He had a free pass and has already driven his way to 15th. Heim, of course, the championship contender in the Truck Series. He's the regular season champion in that series so far this season. And I believe he is locked into the round of 8 off of points based off of how he ran the first 2 races of the round of 10. So he shouldn't have much pressure at Kansas next week. We're making an offsetting start here in an Xfinity car today in the 24 for Sam Hunt Racing. Battle for 4th on the racetrack between Denny Hamlin and Justin Allgaier. Hamlin just passed the 7 that last lap for position. Hamlin did seem to be pretty strong on the long run of the last stage as well. And that's where the veteran driver comes in handy at a track like this. They just know how to save their tires over the course of a run a lot better than everybody else. And as a result, he had the second fastest lap time that last lap, only behind the race leader, Nemechek, who was, of course, teammates with Hamlin. And the only 2 Toyotas in the top 14 right now are those drivers of Nemechek and Hamlin in 1st and 4th. I didn't realize Hamlin's got 3 runner-up finishes as well at Darlington. Or is that... Oh, that's just the Xfinity Series. 5 wins in the Xfinity Series and 14 starts at this racetrack. That's impressive. Not to mention, again, he's got 6 wins in the Cup Series at this racetrack, including 4 Southern 500s. Austin Hill is slowly running down John Hunter Nemechek for position. Getting closer. 8 laps to go in the stage. Out of nowhere, really, Hill's picked it up. He was 3/10 quicker than Nemechek the last lap. I don't know if Nemechek had a hiccup of some sort or what happened. But he is getting closer. 7 to go now, stage 2. Another 10th quicker that last lap for Hill over Nemechek again. Hill up against the wall on the outside of the racetrack, turning a half a car length down to the bottom. He was very much struggling with the handling of his car, getting off turn 4 there, and lost a lot of ground. Nemechek almost 4/10 quicker than Hill the last lap. Hill pushing a little too far to the edge, maybe off turn 4 there, trying to get this stage win. 23-point differential between the two for the regular season championship entering this stage, so this could be a 2-point swing if Hill can get around the 20. And obviously a playoff point on the line as well for this stage win between 2 of the championship favorites. 5 laps to go, stage 2. Now Hill lost ground the lap before. That last lap, Nemechek was 4/1000ths of a second quicker than Hill. Lap car in the way of the 21 in the middle of 1 and 2. That'd be the 02 car of Blaine Perkins. Hill going to get by him cleanly, but that may have caused him a little bit of a hiccup in the center of the corner. And another 10th or 2 pulled away now for Nemechek. Just got by Perkins in a better spot, it looked like, and didn't catch him in the center of the corner quite like the 21 car did. Another lap car in front of Nemechek, just going to stay to the inside, and Nemechek should easily get around into the top lane on the front stretch and clear him before getting down into turn 1, which is exactly the case as Nemechek goes to diamond cut the corner off again, as is Hill behind him in second. Kyle Larson, who is in 3rd place, actually ran almost as quick of a lap time as the race leader, and the last 2 laps has been quicker than Austin Hill with the slight mistakes that 21 has made. So now Larson's within a second and a half of the race lead with 4 to go in the second stage. Points battle for the bubble cutoff line right now between Kligerman and Herbst. 17 points is the difference with Kligerman plus 17 over Herbst. Herbst is not outrunning Kligerman anymore. He is, but only by 1 position. Herbst was in 6th, and that is not the case anymore. Kligerman, who did not get any stage points at stage 1, if he can defend on Hemrick, who is trying to get around him for that 10th spot right now, that could be vital here for Kligerman to pick up that extra point he did not get for a top 10 finish in stage 1 and get it here in stage 2. Hemrick just really good through the center of the corner, managing the throttle a lot better than Parker Kligerman, being patient with him. Kligerman a little bobble, getting into the corner. He overdrove it, tried to stay in front of the 11, ended up in the outside wall. He'll cut to the bottom of the racetrack, trying to cross over. Hemrick, despite hitting the wall, he still powers to the inside of the 11, and the battle for 10th continues. Headed into turns 1 and 2. Will Kligerman be able to hold on? No, he will not on the inside lane. Hemrick easily going to drive away in the center of the corner. 3 to 4 car lengths clear on turn 2 as the 11 car, and Kligerman will not get stage points in either stage in today's race at Darlington as he has fallen back to 11th place once again. And Herbst remains in 9th. There was an extra point there, and the difference now will be 16 points entering the final stage today. And of course, still another race left next week at Kansas to decide that final playoff spot. Last lap of the stage right now. Hill 0.9 of a second behind Nemechek. Larson within about 3 to 4 car lengths now of Hill. Don't think he's quite close enough to be able to make a move on the final lap of the stage, though. Nemechek to the inside of a lap car off turn 4 in the 53. He's not going to get around him. He's going to kind of sacrifice that lap car. Look, oh, no, never mind. He did beat him. So I guess the 53 will get the free pass here at the end of the stage. That would be Matt Mills driving that car today. And John Hunter Nemechek going to sweep the stages at Darlington, as he will get his 7th stage win of the season, 6th and 7th in this race alone, maximizing his stage points efforts. Austin Hill 2nd in stage 2, Kyle Larson 3rd, Denny Hamlin 4th, and Justin Allgaier 5th. Cole Custer finishes 6th, Chandler Smith 7th, Parker Retzlaff 8th, Riley Herbst 9th, and Daniel Hemrick rounds out the top 10. Again, that is your stage 2 results, and all the drivers receiving some regular season points there, and of course, Nemechek credited with the playoff points. We'll take a quick break here, and then we'll get into pit stops in stage 2 on the other side. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. You're listening live to the Sports Clips VFW 200 at Darlington for the NASCAR Xfinity Series on KRC. Up to 56 likes on the channel right now. We'll also end this poll at 78 votes. As of right now, 38% of you say Kyle Larson will win the race. So Kyle Larson will be your fan-voted driver for today's race at Darlington. 24% finished 2nd in the poll at for other. And then John Hunter Nemechek, who has dominated the race with 19% of the votes in 3rd. Hamlin, who I believe was 4th at the end of the stage, 17% of the votes. So thank you all for voting. And you can vote for tomorrow's Cup race during the live stream for the Cup Series race tomorrow evening. Again, our coverage there begins at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are 44 likes away from our goal of 100 likes on the stream today. Be sure to hit that like button. We're only down to about 56 laps to go right now, so be sure to hit that like button again if you have not done so yet. Well wishes to you, to your dog there, Michael. Hopefully nothing serious is going on there. Ashton G, thanks for tuning into the stream also. Waiting to see what will happen during our second set of pit stops in the race today, and then we'll have our diecast showing as usual here for the end of stage 2 once they get to the pit stops. Once again, Mills will get the free pass. He was in 32nd place. So 32 cars on the lead lap at Darlington going into the final stage, and the stage break is our 4th caution of the race today.
And that's tomorrow at 3 o'clock, NBC and Peacock. So the 17 engine issues, they are taking a look at that right now under the hood.
Yeah, I think they're actually going to try to change the carburetor. You could kind of do this in steps to try not to lose a lap. You know, come the first time, remove the air cleaner, come back, take the carburetor off, put the new one on. We'll see how successful they are. Kim?
Stage 2 winner John Hunter Nemechek reported to his team. It fired off tight, then got just a little bit free. You see him top left. It's going to be 4 fresh Goodyear tires, Sunoco fuel. Justin Allgaier top right. He said, I was way too tight during that run. Could not get up against the wall like I wanted to. You see the adjustment there. It is going to be 4 fresh Goodyear tires in addition to that adjustment, Dave.
After a disastrous Daytona, Riley Herbst trying to come back, comes in 8th on this pit stop. They will make an adjustment for a car that is tight going into the corner and snappy loose, Marty.
+5 on the last stop for Austin Hill's group in the 21 team. Let's see what they can do on this stop. Austin said the last adjustment helped, but I still have to be very careful with the throttle. Here comes the 20 car down pit road, drag race off pit road, but Austin Hill and the 21 team do it again. They gain 1 spot this time and put him back out.
Another quick pit stop for Austin Hill to jump back into the race lead. Biggest mover of those in the top 10 that time was Josh Berry, gaining 4 spots on pit road. He'll restart in 9th. We are headed to a full-screen commercial break on the USA Network right now. Time for the Stage 2 diecast showing. Unfortunately, this driver had announced his full-time retirement last season from the NASCAR Cup Series due to a concussion at Pocono, and just last weekend, unfortunately, it was announced by himself that he is not going to be returning in the NASCAR Cup Series at all, unfortunately, due to concussion issues. So that would be Kurt Busch. So for today's stream, wanted to show off a Kurt Busch diecast, and it is from his lone championship winning season in the NASCAR Cup Series from 2004. It is an Irwin Tools 2004 paint scheme, and you can see the NASCAR Cup Series Championship logo on the back of the race car there. I think that's just something, whatever the diecast maker was. I don't know exactly who it was for this diecast specifically, but they put on there, and this is the 2004 Irwin Tools paint scheme. Always like the Irwin Tools paint schemes, both on this car and then the 26 of Jamie McMurray at Roush Fenway Racing. Even to this day, though, Christopher Bell, the few times he runs an Irwin Tools scheme, I love it. I love the gold and blue. I mentioned Michigan Wolverines fan, as you see on my hat there, so that plays a large part into me loving this style of race car as far as the colors on it go, and another good-looking car here. So Kurt Busch, 2004 Ford Taurus is the paint scheme. Irwin Tools. So that is the Stage 2 diecast showing for today's race. We are up to 61 likes, 39 likes away from our goal of 100. Again, be sure to hit that like button. We need to get to our goal for this race today. And the reason why I say we need to get there is because 2 weeks ago, we did not get there for the truck or the Xfinity Series race that took place at Indianapolis road course for the Xfinity Series, and then at IRP for the truck race. So we need to make sure we get to our goal here tonight, so that way we don't miss out on it once again. So again, get to 100 likes here is the goal for the end of this race. Replay the pit stop here from the 48 team of Parker Kligerman. I'm not sure where he cycled off of pit road. It looks like he fell back to 19th, unfortunately. So slow stop in the 48 bunch. Specifically on the right side of the race car. And that is going to cost Kligerman.
We were worried about the back, but we got plenty of time. We'll get back up there.
I remember that wall contact, Steve. That's what got that started.
So listen, if that comment by the crew chief, you're trying to digest it, welcome to Darlington. We had a loose wheel. We thought it was the right. It was the left. We put some packer in the front. That's to raise the car. I mean, we up here, me specifically, I make it sound simple because from the booth, it's pretty calm up here. We don't have all that chaos. That was a great reminder for me that what all these crew chiefs are dealing with. You have a driver who is absolutely mad. You have a car that doesn't drive as good as you want. You have engineers making suggestions. There's just a lot of input coming your way, and you're trying to factor that. And now the 48, he sits 19th. And if you look at the points, right, he's only 4 points to the good. So Kligerman holds a 4-point gap over the 98.
Nemechek got to take the outside of row 1 here, but that is because Hill, who will be the control car, elected the bottom. So We'll see what Austin can do as he has struggled in the top lane of row 1 of the restart. Now in the bottom lane, trying to take over the race lead from Nemechek. Green flag back in the air again. Hill struggles getting to speed. John Hunter Nemechek has been masterful on the restarts and will continue to hold on out in front. Denny Hamlin now to the outside of the 21 car for second as Hill slides up the racetrack. Hamlin almost gets bounced out into the outside wall after contact from the 21 off of turn 2. They'll still be door to door and nose to nose into turn 3. For the race lead once again, for second place, once again, Hamlin trying to hang on, and he's going to make the pass. Hill going to fall back to 4th now, as it looks like Cole Custer will get around him as well. Kyle Larson was on pit road for a lengthy period of time, trying to diagnose the engine/fuel pickup issues that they are having with that race car. He is still on the lead lap, but scored in 30th place, so Larson back in the pack after finishing top 3 in the first 2 stages of the race today. And a penalty for Brandon Jones as well during the pit stop cycling. Too many men over the wall, so he is back at 31st as well. And of course we know of Parker Kligerman having the slow pit stop, restarting in 19th, losing 8 spots on pit road with the slow stop there. Corey Heim battling up to 11th place in the running order. Heis, he has been in the race so far, and he is just charging to the front after being a lap down earlier after contact on track with the 9 of Brandon Jones. Rules reversed now with Jones coming from the back of the pack, and I don't think he's got anywhere near the car that even Corey Heim. And the 24 is having Heim now up inside the top 10 as he just passed Kyle Busch that last lap. So Heim up inside the top 10 now with just less than 50 laps to go. Can Denny Hamlin run down his teammate John Hunter Nemechek? The last lap, Hamlin was about 100th of a second quicker than the 20. Sam Mayer on the outside of the 48 of Parker Kligerman as they battle for 16th. Kligerman's gained 3 positions from the restart. Once he clears the 1 car, which he does. Sammy Smith right behind, trying to get a charge. Sam Mayer moved down a little early. I don't know if he realized the 18 was there or not. Almost turned himself. Made an overcorrection nearly into the outside wall after making contact with Sammy Smith. Brett Moffitt gets by both cars in the front stretch. And it looks like Smith back in line behind the 1 car again. And somebody else nearly got around the 18 car as well. Actually, it was Ryan Sieg who got by the 18 in the 1. And then Moffitt running door-to-door for position right now as well. Camera randomly panned back half of the top 10. Maybe there was more contact. A couple other cars. Drivers starting to push a little harder now. Sense of urgency is on into the final stage. Trying to get every last position they can. And now the tire management game at the front of the field is on between Nemechek and Hamlin. Nemechek running off the wall quite a bit in turns 3 and 4 there. Denny Hamlin all the way up against it. And Hamlin runs a quicker lap time that last lap than the 20. 45 laps to go as the leaders enter turns 1 and 2. Caution flag is out further back in the pack. So give the free pass to the 33 of Kyle Weatherman. And multiple cars have spun off turn 4. Jeremy Clements. And then the 28 car of Kyle Sieg also involved. So Clements and Sieg bringing out our 5th caution of the day just over 100 laps into the race.
Damage. I'd call that a win at Darlington. Yeah, they just come up off the corner, just kind of the traditional contact that you have off the corner. And I think Clements was kind of swept up into that as an innocent participant because Kyle Sieg gets into the inside of the car in front of him or beside him. Right here's a good shot of it. All 3 cars in front of you.
I think that was Moffitt that was on the outside that they were making contact with.
Yeah, he bounced off the 25, it looks like. Kyle Sieg did, and then that caught Jeremy Clements just by the front of the car and spun him out as well. So the caution has come out for the 5th time today. That means another restart in front of us. Nemechek and Hamlin running up front.
Going to have roughly 40 laps to go, give or take, when we get back to this next restart. Still too early into this final run for anybody to consider taking fresh tires and giving up track position at the front of the field. Each team still has 2 sets of tires left the rest of the way. We'll have to wait to see if we get a later yellow. That could potentially bring more cars onto pit road. Stu Isaac, thanks for tuning in. We are now down to 34 likes to get to our goal of 100 on the stream. So again, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content if you haven't yet. Dennis R. Gerald, thanks for tuning into the stream also. And we will see if we get an instant classic of a finish in this race. As far as the race itself goes, it doesn't really look like anybody has had anything for John Hunter Nemechek all day long, except for potentially Denny Hamlin based off of the speed we saw out of the 19 following that restart. It might take a JGR Toyota to beat another JGR Toyota in this one. Only drivers that ran their fastest lap of the race following this most recent restart is Parker Retzlaff, who is up to 9th place now. Ross Chastain in 13th, and then Sam Mayer and Sammy Smith in 19th and 20th. Kyle Sieg as well before getting involved in that spin, as it looks like he has fallen a lap down during the caution flag period. He did nose the inside wall. Very similar to that of Sammy Smith earlier with that left front fender. Similar damage on both cars. So I'm sure Sieg will be able to continue. Now who has had the fastest speed? Let's take a look here. Cole Custer, potentially? Very few drivers have ran a lap time average of over 160 miles an hour today. Looks like just 4 drivers have done it, which would include each of the top 3. Cole Custer's got the fastest lap of the day of a 30.340, average race speed of 162.083 miles per hour back on lap 2. Second fastest lap time of the day is to that of race leader John Hunter Nemechek, who had a 30.403, roughly 0.07 of a second slower than the fastest lap ran by Custer. Leaders on pit road, Hamlin, Nemechek, and others.
Denny Hamlin and John Hunter Nemechek, 4 tires, Sunoco fuel, slight adjustments for cars that are both tight. Dave.
There's a 98 of Riley Herbst. He came for fresh tires as well. Why not? As we get 42 laps to go.
Just 6 laps on those tires, Dave, but everybody coming down pit road. Austin Till's team again. That number 1 pit stall paying off. They gained 3 spots. And by the way, Rick, Austin Hill said on the radio, I don't know what I'm doing wrong on these restarts, but clearly something's going on. I am spinning the tires every time.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely is having a hard time getting the rear tires hooked up. And what you see right here, this is a little different for Xfinity Series racing, where we mentioned at the top of the show, 4 sets of tires, short race, final stage, only 57 laps. So when Marty says only 6 laps on the tires, in the Cup race, for sure you're going to cut. You got a lot of tires. But Xfinity, you normally don't have any extra. They still had 2 sets of tires. So even with this pit stop, they still have a set of stickers left with 42 to go. I understand we don't have this every week. There's a lot of different reasons that goes into that rule, but I do love that there's a few races a year that force these crew chiefs to kind of, this is outside their box to have to make these decisions. Marty, the 17, the hood up once again.
Trying once again, Kyle Larson went back out there. They made 3 stops before in the stage 2 caution. They could not get it fixed, and now there goes the field. They told Kyle Larson a moment ago, fire it up. It would not fire up. They decided to come back down because it was still stumbling on the racetrack, but now Kyle Larson going down a lap here at Darlington with one of the better race cars after having that engine issue, the carburetor stumbling, especially off turn 2. That's been the biggest issue, and they cannot get it solved here on the 17.
KP, DJ, you guys on the Peacock pit box, only 40 laps to go. Is it going to be a calm 40 laps or a chaotic 40 laps?
Why should the last 40 laps be any calmer than the first part of the race? I mean, these guys are all up on the wheel, sideways, backwards, and in the words of the great Ray Melton, high, wide, and handsome in the championship groove, trying to make something happen. I don't see that changing, and the finishes that we've had the last couple of races down here should prove that also.
Yeah, and one of the best ever at this racetrack, Denny Hamlin, is getting ready to put a lot of pressure on everybody, because I foresee him taking the lead here and then everybody else trying to overdrive their cars to see if they can get by Denny.
And we'll see if the cars that decided to stay out, which are the top 9 right now, with Retzlaff, Corey Heim, Allgaier.
So we're going to take a slippery, narrow racetrack, and we are going to make it pure chaos at the front, because now the cars that not only have had the fastest cars all day, now they have fresh tires. In 6 laps, that's basically a second of tire fall off. Now we're going to put them behind some of these drivers. Corey Heim has had an up and down day, and they got the free wave round earlier and a set of tires put on. I've actually been pretty impressed with both the speed of the 24 and the 31. Now the real question is, can you kind of get out there and get clear? Because we know the 21 of Hill, the 19 of Hamlin, they are for sure coming. It's just a question of how long and how clean. You see right here, you mentioned it, right? 8, 9 cars stayed out. So Hill, Hamlin, Nemechek, the first 3 on tires.
Corey Heim's going to be on the outside in the 24, and Parker Retzlaff will be on the inside in that 31.
Pretty interesting. Like, what lane do you pick? And that's what's very difficult. And I just watched. So a lot of them decided, hey, we think the bottom is going to roll better here. So a lot of guys gave up some rows to pick the bottom with the choose. After that, Riley Herbst in that black car pulled up 4 or 5 rows to get where he is. But most of the guys on the inside are thinking the outside is going to be really slow here.
Well, a lot of those cars on older tires lined up in that outside line, so it actually was an advantage to the 21, the 19. They moved forward about 3 positions with some cars on used tires. Herbst is in the worst spot. He's right behind all 3 cars with used tires. Everybody in that line on the outside is going to be slow on this restart for Herbst.
39 laps to go, upcoming. Again, the top 9 on old tires on the restart. We'll see how quickly and who will be the first of those on fresh tires to get to the front. Green flag back in the air. A couple cars on the outside, already 3 wide, getting split apart. Herbst up the middle lane to do so. And at the front of the field, Parker Retzlaff is clear of Justin Allgaier for the race lead. Corey Heim dives back underneath them for second off of turn 2, trying to pull the crossover move on the veteran. Not going to be able to do it. Retzlaff hanging on for the lead. Big block being made on the back straightaway for Nemechek on Custer in the bottom lane. And trying to work their way around some of the slower cars just around them. Retzlaff leads his first green flag lap of the day. An interesting fact, in fact, that was the first green flag lap led today by anybody other than John Hunter Nemechek. It took till just 38 laps to go to have that happen. And of course, a different set of green flag or pit stops under caution, where the top 9 stayed out to be able to do that. Austin Hill, the first of those on 4 fresh tires to get to the front of the field. Hamlin the second of which, and then Nemechek is third. Hill just passed Justin Allgaier for second in the middle of 3 and 4. Retzlaff is hanging on for now, but here comes the 21 and the 19 just behind him. Near contact right around Riley Herbst and Josh Berry in the running order. Sammy Smith in the mix as well back there. All battling for position. Kligerman trying to catch up, or pull away, I should say, from the 98. He's currently running just above him. Retzlaff still leading for now, no longer. Off turn 4, new leader. Austin Hill will lead his first green flag lap of the day after Retzlaff led the first 3 laps following the restart. And Denny Hamlin trying to get by Retzlaff for second now and not allow the 21 of Hill to pull away too much. Hamlin going to clear the 31 car off of turn 2. Easily going to slide up clear now. Allgaier also on the older tires, still in 4th. Nemechek has not yet gotten around him. So John Hunter struggling a little bit in traffic. First time he's been in traffic all day today. And he just cannot get around that 7 car to save his life right now. And that is allowing for Hill and Hamlin to really start to pull away here. And if we stay green to the end of the race, this could really hurt that 20 car in trying to get back in contention. Cole Custer to the top 5. He passes the 7 of Allgaier. Nemechek did pass just in that last corner before that for 4th. He's 1.7 seconds behind race leader Austin Hill. And now is looking to pass Retzlaff for 3rd. Looks like they are pushing Kyle Larson's car to the garage, it looks like. Either to the garage or from the garage back onto the racetrack, whatever the case is there. Again, problems for Larson have taken him out of a good shot to potentially be up here as well with Hill and Hamlin and Nemechek for the win. He was top 3 all day, leading up to some engine issues that they had underneath the hood of the 17. Kligerman to 19th. Make that 18th as he makes another pass. Some of those drivers on the older tires starting to slip further back in the field. So Kligerman picking up points late in the going. Denny Hamlin closes the gap on Austin Hill again as we'll have 32 laps to go this time by. Hamlin strong in the center of the corner through 1 and 2. Closes the gap on Austin Hill. Hamlin doesn't want this race to get away from him like it has the last couple of times in the NASCAR Xfinity Series at Darlington that he has raced in. So good through the middle of the corner is Hamlin, and that might be the opportunity he's going to have to pounce on Hill. He's definitely close enough. Hill going to drive it in deep on the bottom, try to build up as much of a gap in the middle of the corner to try to defend. Hamlin around the outside most of the way through 1 and 2. Now coming off the wall through the third quarter of the corner. And Hill did really well for himself there. He actually might have opened up that gap just a little bit between him and the 19. Middle of turns 3 and 4, both cars to the outside. Hamlin trying to turn off the wall to get a little bit of clean air on the nose now off the exit of the corner. And Hill, that last lap, just a little bit quicker than the 19, but the 19 is still within a couple tenths right behind Hill. Closest battle we've had for the lead all day today. And the more these two battle, the more of a chance Nemechek will have to try to catch up from third as he's 2.9 seconds back still. Retzlaff remains in the top 5 and 5th of those that stayed out on the older tires, which is good for him, but he did have good pacing before that. He was in 9th prior to the last caution when everybody, of course, was on equal tires to begin the stage. 30 to go at the line now for Austin Hill. Trying to tie Nemechek for the most wins this season with 5 apiece if he can get the win. He came in as the points leader. He got outscored by Nemechek in each of the first 2 stages, trying to outscore Nemechek in the race finishing points to try to help clinch that championship next weekend at Kansas. For the regular season, of course, not the actual season championship. And, of course, 5 more playoff points with a race win if he can get it done here today. Hamlin with a nice run off turn 4. Not going to gain as much on the front stretch as I would have thought. It looked like he got off the corner pretty well, but Hill off the bottom lane, not that bad either. Austin Hill running the bottom groove most of the way through 1 and 2. Hamlin again most of the way near the top. Each of these two drivers changing their lines corner after corner based off of how the other one basically is driving. Hill trying to predict the line Hamlin's running, and Hamlin just trying to pull into a different lane that Hill's not running. Big run for Hamlin now off turn 4 this time by. All over the back of the 21 car into 1 and 2. 28 laps to go. Hamlin up near the wall. Trying to carry that momentum off turn 2. Austin Hill struggling as he gets a little loose off the exit of the corner. That slight bobble might be enough for Hamlin to overtake. Battle to turn 3. Hamlin looking to the inside of Austin Hill. Can he get the power down? He will. Underneath Hill. He's not going to clear him, though. Side by side for the race lead as a drag race down the front stretch. Hamlin leads his first lap of the day. Now can he clear the 21 as they battle door-to-door into turn 1. Hamlin down to the bottom of the racetrack. Slide job as he works his way up off the bottom groove. Towards the outside, he gives Austin Hill enough room to make the corner, and Hill holds on for the lead again. Hill is clear off turn 2. And he held on strong. Both cars racing clean, at least for now, while they have at least some sort of grip, if you can say that. And Nemechek still 3 seconds off the lead behind him, waiting for these two to make a mistake so he could close the gap. 26 to go for Hill. Laps can't count down quick enough for the 21. Bottom lane for Austin Hill again. All the way near the top is Hamlin. As Hamlin looks quicker, he just can't complete the pass on Hill. He's trying to race him heads up and race him clean. Hill may have bounced off the wall off turn 2. Is very close. He's pushing hard. Hamlin with a run into 3. Hamlin not going to go to the bottom this time. Hill a half a lane off the wall. Hamlin all the way near it. Hill slides up. He may have grazed the wall just a little bit in the middle of 3 and 4. Hamlin cuts to the bottom, trying to get a run again. Hill leads the lap at the line. 25 laps to go at Darlington. Hamlin again, looking to the inside, into turns 1 and 2. Can he get there? Middle of the corner. Feathering the throttle. Hill a little bit looser in the outside lane, trying to hang on to it. And again, clear of Hamlin off of turn 2.
But right now, Hill has fought off that 19. 2 and 3 times the 19 has been up beside Austin Hill. He's not been able to complete the pass, and Hill holding on with under 25 laps to go.
Hill's doing a great job of holding one of the best ever here. Hold him off. He's changed his line. He's given Denny some different looks. Now up the racetrack, giving Denny the bottom of the racetrack. Sometimes he's giving Denny the top. Denny a big run right here.
See if he tries the slide job into 3. He's going to stay behind the 21. Can Denny be saving his tires at all by doing this, or is he fighting for everything he can get?
Well, it looks like the 21's moving around a lot here. Denny's car's pretty stable. Here he goes down the front straightaway. A big run for the 19. I don't know if Austin can fight this one off on the outside. He's there.
Still there.
Denny finally clears him.
Clear.
I think Denny drives away. Much faster race car. Took his time, really patient on making this pass. You never really saw him slip the back of that 19 car anytime during this pass.
Super respectful. Racing Austin Hill, an Xfinity regular. He could have driven into one and used him up. Did not do that. Passed him very clean. And I think that's what a Cup driver should do when they come Xfinity racing. You should give those guys a little more respect.
And to answer your question, Rick, I don't think the 19 was saving. I think to what the two drivers just said, I think this is what makes him so good at this racetrack is he knew that overdriving the limit wasn't going to help him complete that pass. It was to fill up Austin Hill's mirror, which he did every corner, every lap. And to be honest, guys, I don't even see a mistake out of the 21. Like in the end, Denny just found his way by.
So the 19 out in front now, and these are the first 4 laps that the 19 has led. Let's go through the field. We'll start with Kim.
And Denny Hamlin out front, he told us during Countdown to Green he was going to be respectful of the full-time Xfinity Series drivers, but he wasn't going to give up a win. And while he said there's no benefit to being in this race, hard to believe that there wouldn't be a shot of momentum headed into tomorrow if he takes home his 6th checkered flag at Darlington in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, Marty.
Kim, while they were battling for the lead, I love the coaching from Derek Nealon, the spotter for Austin Hill, even telling him the logo into turn 3 where Denny Hamlin was letting off and also turning into the corner. Hill trying to get RCR's first ever win in the Xfinity Series here at Darlington. They reminded him a moment ago after the pass happened, hey, remember, we're the ones who have the long run speed. Let's use it, Kim.
John Hunter Nemechek in the 3rd position after leading 98 laps today. And while they do want a win, they would also settle for a solid weekend. The team told me they just need to right the ship before the playoffs. So a podium finish looking good for John Hunter Nemechek, Dave.
Cole Custer not able to accomplish one of their chief goals today, that being playoff points. Exhibit A, he came into this race 20 points in playoff points behind John Hunter Nemechek, had 1/3 of that amount. They didn't get any in stage 1 or 2. Nemechek took 2 more, and it doesn't look like he can get 5 for the win. Even though it's a strong run, Marty, he needed more.
Dave, let's give a tip of the cap to Taylor Moyer and Josh Berry. And Junior Collard at the start of the race. So much complaining about how the 8 car was handling in the first stage and really second stage of this race, but it has come to life here. 19 to go. Josh Berry sits in 5th, looking at a top 5 here at Darlington, Dave.
Don't know if Riley Herbst would say his car came to life, Marty, but it has been a strong effort for them today. He's gotten it down to single digits. You see Herbst there, the first car in the red to the first car up in the green, Parker Kligerman. Just 9 points now separate them. Riley Herbst trying to make a comeback as they get down to the last 2 races before the playoffs, Marty.
Dave, a lot of credit goes to Chandler Smith today in what is really his first ever Xfinity race here at Darlington. Why? Well, because in the May race here, they got in a crash very early in the race. Did not get very many laps. Chandler Smith has kept it clean all day long, having an impressive run right now in 7th, Kim.
And how about Parker Redsloff running in the 8th position? They got track position by staying out during the last caution. Although he's dropped spots, he has maintained a top 10 position, and that's what he was looking for this weekend, because if we rewind to the spring, his debut here at Darlington, he had top 10 speed, was running in the top 10 during stage 1 before an incident in stage 2, so the goal today was a top 10. That would be a win for this race team.
Spent some time with Parker in the garage yesterday. I'm not sure there's a nicer person. Just like smile from ear to ear, excited for the opportunity week in, week out to drive this race car. And I think it's a great fit. Jordan Anderson, I believe, puts everything back into this race team, and I think Parker behind the wheel gives Jordan Anderson, his race team, everything he has. But look at that car. It's clean as the 39 goes around.
And so that means a restart as we see Ryan Sieg has spun in the 39. And Steve, you know these guys are coming for tires.
If you have a set, you better put them on for sure. Speaking of clean, that 39 car is pretty clean as well. I mean, that scratch on the right rear quarter panel, that doesn't even count, Darlington. That's a clean car.
The crew's getting ready. We have seen Austin Hill win the race off pit road many times. He just has not been able to stay up front. Let's take a look at the spin by Ryan Sieg in the 39 on his own.
Yeah, I mean, it's, low grip. That's basically what happens. I mean, every in-car we see, I mean, you can make a highlight reel with every set of corners because everyone is basically on the edge. The 39 just crossed over that edge just a little bit.
Austin Hill and his pit crew, they have been on fire all day long. Sitting there running second. Denny Hamlin just got by him. This is what they wanted. Can they execute just like they've done all day? Can they make it count right now and get him back in the lead? And if they do, it will be a very difficult pass for Hamlin to get back by him.
But remember, Austin Hill has struggled on restarts. We have not seen him be able to keep the rear tires locked into the track.
Yeah, but I mean, their pit crew has been strong on pit road. They got a chance to be able to retake control of this race on pit road if they do come down. A lot of teams do have tires. We're going to see a lot on pit road. Saw a couple people stay out that last time. That didn't really work very well in their favor.
Yeah, and that was with only, 5 laps on their tires. Now they're going to have 24 or more, so...
Algar stayed out. That wasn't good. Retzloff actually held on pretty well.
Yeah.
He's back in. He's only went back to 8th, so that was about where he started. So that worked out pretty well for him.
You just need a good, clean pit stop. You want it to be fast, but you don't want any problems. We've seen some problems on pit road that have cost a lot of positions for teams today. You definitely don't want that on this stop. It'll end the day.
And once they open pit road, it will be very busy. There are 29 cars on the lead lap.
Well, and that's going to take any issue you have on pit road. Remember, we keep talking about trying to win the race off pit road, but if you're the 98 or the 48, those cars in the bubble, and you have a hiccup here or an issue and lose time on pit road, you can lose 15 positions, 20 positions.
Right. The 48 of Parker Kligerman right now scored 13th. The 98s of Herbst 6th. And a long line of cars coming onto pit road, and they'll stop in front of Kim first.
And Denny Hamlin leading that charge, top left right there. He said he just got too loose towards the end of that run. It's going to be 4 fresh Goodyear tires. So, and then as you look at John Hunter, top right there, he said, I am way better in traffic, not tight anymore. Leave it alone. No changes for John Hunter, Dave.
Maybe Cole Custer can achieve his big goal for the day. 5 playoff points if he can win the race. Air pressure and track bar adjustment on this car to make it better, Marty.
Dave, this should be good. The 21 team has gained a collective 9 spots for their driver, Austin Hill, on pit road today. He said, handling-wise, I'm back to 2 free on the throttle, and it takes too long for the car to come in. The other cars coming down pit road, they're on the left side of the 21. A bit of a longer stop, but they still, I don't know, drag race, they still win the race off pit road, Rick. Impressive day.
They really did a great job again. Austin Hill, he comes off pit road first, Nemechek, and then Hamlin. It was really close this time.
Austin Hill, for the 4th time today, has won the race off pit road following pit stops under a caution flag period. We'll see if he can hang on to get the win. We are still 23 likes away from our goal of 100 likes on the stream today. We have over 160 people currently watching. So be sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so, but also, of course, hit that like button if you have not on the stream yet. We'll take our final break of the race, and I'll bring you the finish on the other side. You're listening live to the Sports Clips Haircuts VFW 200 and Darlington for the NASCAR Xfinity Series on KRC. Also tonight we will have a NASCAR Thunder 2004 live stream for anybody wondering when the return of that series will come. It will be tonight, so you can tune in for that as well. We'll have our start time at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So once again, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time tonight, we'll have a little NASCAR Thunder 2004 live stream. Love the end of the races. They're so good. I mean, this track in particular and this series in particular, they have been off the charts good. We will see if we will have another one of those classic Darlington finishes that we've seen here over recent years. Really, not just in this series. I mean, the Cup Series has had some great finishes in recent years as well. Really, post-COVID, this track has come to life with just some flat-out good racing. And we saw a great battle going on between Austin Hill and Denny Hamlin. Hamlin won that battle, started to slowly pull away, and then the caution flag came out. And even though he was slowly pulling away, he only got out to about a 6, 7, 8 of a second lead over Hill, so it wasn't like he was completely checking out. And Nemechek was running similar lap times to that of Hamlin as well. But it's going to be interesting, though. The slowest of those 3 cars is Austin Hill. He's going to be the control car in the restart again. Even though he has struggled on restarts so far today, we will see what Austin Hill could be capable of here. We're going to have, I believe, 10 laps to go on the restart, and what could be the final restart of the day in this race. Again, a packed crowd on hands. I don't see many empty seats on the front stretch grandstands. It doesn't look like they maybe sold seats for closer to the corners, which for some reason they do that with the Xfinity and Truck Series races on specific racetracks. They don't even sell seats for it. I think they should have, because they probably could have sold more tickets for it. For this race in particular, just looking at how many people are there. Holiday weekend, of course, and again, I think a lot of fans that are at the track this weekend are well aware of how good the racing has been in this series the Saturday before the Cup race the last few times, so I'm sure they want to see another classic finish here today, and they're showing just what those classic finishes have entailed on the USA Network. Actually commentated the Xfinity race earlier this season in the battle between Larson and Nemechek. Unfortunately, Larson had some engine issues which have taken him out of the race today, and he will end up with a last place finish, it appears, as he's 29 laps down. So, tough break. I think they actually did bring the car back out of the racetrack, but many, many laps down. Fortunate circumstance for a guy who could be right up here as well, competing for the win, considering he was top 3 all day prior to that caution. He had only led 1 lap on a restart earlier today, in the restart zone specifically, where he kind of jumped out. But he was running second or third behind Nemechek at the time for those first 2 stages prior. Austin Hill will be on the inside of row 1. Again, the controlled car. He has lost the lead in this situation the last 3 times. Can the 4th time be the charm? Green flag back in the air. It's an okay launch for Austin Hill. Better than what he has been doing. He'll be door-to-door with Nemechek into turns 1 and 2. How aggressive will he be as he slides up? Trying to hang on the left rear corner panel of Nemechek's race car, but he can't hang that much longer. Door-to-door for the lead. Maybe slight contact off turn 2. Hill's not giving up. Into turn 3 now. Austin Hill with the slide job. He's going to go up the racetrack. Is he going to give Nemechek room? These two battling for the regular season championship. And out for the race win at Darlington. Slide job clear. Great pass. Austin Hill to the lead. 9 laps to go. Can he hold off the strongest car in the field now? If there's one car that can get around Austin Hill, it would probably be Nemechek or Hamlin, and they're both running second and third right behind the 21. Nemechek going to have to be quick with this before Hamlin can get there, as he's all clear for third and trying to close now. Side by side for fourth between Herbst and Barry going into the corner. Hill very loose. You can see how hard he's driving the race car, as his front tires, I should say, in general, were facing the opposite direction, middle of the corner, to that of the back of his car. Dirt tracking it through 3 and 4. And you can tell he's just mirror driving on the 20 right now, and either one of these two are running their fastest laps as a result of it. Nemechek gives a little push to Hill off turn 2, which actually got him out ahead of him a little more on the backstretch. Into turns 3 and 4. Denny Hamlin is quickly to the inside of the 20 after the checkup that Nemechek had when he got into the back of the 21 the corner before. And Hamlin can't complete the pass on the 20 car that time. He's going to try to hang there into turns 1 and 2. Cup Series veteran Denny Hamlin trying to put the battle to his teammate. The more they battle here for second, the more of a chance Hill's going to have of pulling away. Hamlin still to the inside of the 20. He's been underneath him for almost a full lap now. Into turn 3, Denny Hamlin slides up in front of Nemechek, takes over second, and now has his eyes set after Austin Hill, who he had passed prior to the caution. Kligerman sliding. Will we stay green? He's down on the bottom of the racetrack, and he is around, but there is no caution, and now the caution is out as he has stalled on the racetrack. Very delayed yellow there. I think they were going to try to keep it green, but I don't know why. There was so much smoke laid down in the middle of the corner. Oncoming traffic probably couldn't see. Luckily, the 20 was down to the bottom. The caution flag is out again, and we will have yet another late race restart. A lot of these teams have one more set of tires left. I don't think they'll take them, but you never know. And then the teams that pitted during the first caution of the stage... there's only a few teams that actually have tires capable of being able to pit. There's 9 drivers who had stayed out. Those 9 drivers will have one more set of tires. But a lot of the cars up at the front of the field right now will have to stay out whether they wanted to or not. I would imagine they'd probably want to stay out anyway, considering we'd only have a couple laps left. But we'll see. It looked like he just overdrove it, got loose in the bottom lane, went around. Came into the day 20 points above the cutoff line was Kligerman. And now with the spin, Riley Herbst is that much closer to trying to get above him and leapfrog him in the points before the regular season finale at Kansas next week. Herbst is in 6th. Great recovery day for Riley Herbst. Recovery meaning that the handling of the car just wasn't great early in the race. And he has battled from where he was on speed outside the top 10 at times. Now he's up in 6th, and he actually has that competitive car. He was battling Barry on the restart there for position. With another late race restart ensuing, there's a chance Herbst could get a top 5 out of the day. He has scored 8 points ahead of Kligerman as we run now, and that's after the Kligerman spin. I don't know if the 48 team has another set of tires or not. They're going to come down. I don't know if it's going to be scuffs going on the car, fresh tires. Speed-wise, with the cars that are on the lead lap just in front of him on this ensuing restart, he could get some of those points back. And then maybe Herbst loses a couple more spots and that playoff battle is even tighter going into the next race. Where we're running right now, it looks like Josh Berry's going to lock himself into the playoffs with a win. Creed and Hemrick will pretty much be locked in with the win. They have to be 60 points ahead of 12th. And they're going to be above 50 points ahead. So pretty much as long as there's no new winner from below the cutoff line that isn't Kligerman or Herbst, whoever would be below it, if it's somebody basically 14th in points on lower in the standings, none of those guys win, then Creed and Hamrick should be locked for the playoffs as well. Which is big for Creed after missing the playoffs in his rookie season in the Xfinity Series a season ago. It had a slow start this year, but really started to pick the pace up middle of the summer. Sid for Brains, thanks for tuning in. Jeff Curry, welcome into the stream also. Thank you for all of you that are watching this race here today. Once again, we will have live commentary of the Cup race tomorrow, and our pre-race coverage will begin at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So once again, 5:30 Eastern tomorrow, we will have our pre-race Southern 500 coverage right here on the channel. Won't want to miss it. So again, hit that subscribe button. I know I mentioned it a lot during this streams, but we're on the road to 5,000 subs. Want to get there before the end of the season. And hit the like button. Again, our goal, 100 likes on the stream today. We are at 87 right now. We're only 13 away, and we have almost 200 concurrent viewers watching. So definitely hit that like button, guys. We got to get to 100 likes before the end of this one, and we're coming up on a late race restart with just a couple laps to go. I'm not sure if they're going to get the one-to-go signal this time. If they don't, then we will go past the scheduled distance, and this will be an official overtime restart, which looks to be the case. So this will be an overtime restart. Austin Hill did a great job that last restart on the bottom, barely hanging on Nemechek. Hill was the control card. He barely won that restart. He's been struggling on restarts today, but now he has to try it again. And this time he's going to have slightly more wear on his tires versus just coming off of pit road with fresh tires, so that might hurt the fire off just a little bit more, but the same could be said for the drivers will be lined up with him. Does he take the bottom lane again, or does he take the top? We'll have to wait and see. I don't even know what the preferred lane is. Maybe the bottom, just because we saw Nemechek picking that lane more often than not. But Nemechek just so good on race starts throughout the course of the day. And Austin Hill's just struggled there more than pretty much any other driver up towards the front of the field all race long. We'll see if he can get the rear grip needed this time around. One to go signal to the choose rule. Hill on the inside of row 1 for the restart, and then both Joe Gibbs Toyotas will be on the outside of rows 1 and 2. Hamlin to the outside of row 1, and Nemechek right behind him will try to probably give him that push off the start. Josh Berry will be on the inside of row 2 behind Hill, still looking for his first win of the season. And then Cole Custer, Riley Herbst, the SHR Fords will be in row 3. Row 4, on the inside row of the row will be Chandler Smith, Justin Allgaier to the outside. And then row 5, Kyle Busch on the inside, who's been quiet today. And then Sheldon Creed to the outside of row 5. Two laps to go this time by. If this is our only overtime restart, we will go 1 lap past the scheduled distance. Actually, no, we will not. I don't know why they're saying overtime. We will hit the exact distance of 147 laps, but it's basically same overtime rules. The race leader gets to the white flag. The next flag ends the race. If he gets there under green, caution comes out before. We'll try it again. Caution comes out on the final lap. Field freezes at the time of the caution, and that will be the finishing order of the race. We'll see who's going to get it done. Hill versus Hamlin in row 1, and maybe somebody else further behind has a shot to win it. Green flag back in the air. Hill spins the tires a little bit, but so did Hamlin as the rear tires got picked up off the ground with the 20 right behind him. Hill's going to drive it in deep. He's going to go up the racetrack. Hamlin's going to be clear. Hill trying to get up in front of the 20 car of John Hunter Nemechek, and he's not going to be able to do it, though Hamlin didn't get off turn 2 very well, and Hill might have a shot going into 3. He's going to send it. Into the corner goes Austin Hill. Underneath the 19 of Denny Hamlin, he can't get it done. He's going to slide up for second in front of Nemechek one more time. Hill trying to play defense on Nemechek, who gets to the inside of the 21 car. Does John Hunter have a shot at his teammate Denny Hamlin? They battle so hard for second. They're slide jobbing each other, slingshot back and forth. Hamlin's pulling away. Hill slides clear again. A double crossover move there by the 21 on the 20. Into turns 3 and 4. Great battle for second continues, but at the front of the field, Denny Hamlin will get his 6th career Xfinity Series win at Darlington. Austin Hill going to hold on for second on the final lap on John Hunter Nemechek. Nemechek ends up by a close margin for third, Custer fourth, and Josh Berry will round out the top 5. Third win for the 19 car this season, with the third different driver winning in that car. Hamlin joins Ty Gibbs and Ryan Truex as the drivers to win in that machine this year. So 5 more playoff points for the owner standings for that race car coming up here in a few weeks when the playoffs begin. On the Xfinity Series side of things, Parker Kligerman upset with Sam Mayer, it looks like, as there was contact that actually had knocked the 48 car around from the 1. Kligerman got back up to 24th, so we'll have to wait to see exactly how many points behind Herbst he will be going into the next race, as Herbst did hang on to a 6th place finish as he restarted in that spot. Maybe not an instant classic of a finish today, but a good one nonetheless, and a good race. And Denny Hamlin is going to go to victory lane once again at Darlington. In this series, in any series here in NASCAR, this is definitely one of his better racetracks. And as he burns it down on the front stretch, get to hear from Hamlin as well as some of the other top finishers from today's race in our brief post-race show. Once again, hit that like button, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content on the way out. Guys, we are still 12 likes away from our goal, so be sure to hit that like button. We need to get to 100 likes here for the end of the stream. Helps the channel out a ton. 1 hour, 53 minutes, 53 seconds was the total lapse time on the race from the drop of the green flag to the checker. We did go 1 lap past the scheduled distance, so it was an overtime finish. 148 laps out of scheduled 147. Average race speed of 105.64 miles per hour. And we ended up having 7 cautions in the race today, 6 for incident.
On the Cup Series side, got into the back of Chase Elliott at Martinsville. That didn't go over well. Earlier this year at Richmond with at Pocono with Kyle Larson. I think it was equal. Kim, what'd you think?
I don't know. Let's ask the man himself. A 6-pack, 6 wins at Darlington in the Xfinity Series. It seems like a mixed bag. You got some boos, you got some cheers. What do you think?
Yeah, just proud to do this for Gordon Logan. Everyone at Sport Clips has been such a supporter of my career for such a long time. So thank you to Sport Clips and Help a Hero. Appreciate everyone at Joe Gibbs Racing for the opportunity to let me come do one Xfinity race per year, and it's great to have a win.
When we talked earlier, you said it wasn't going to be a walk in the park. These cars very hard to feel for you after being in the Cup car. How long did it take to find a rhythm?
Yeah, it took a while. I mean, I really needed some long runs, but I really didn't want to show everything that we had until the very end of the race there. So we really did a good job of maintaining what we had, and man, just it's going to be cool to see that race play out, but still it was a great win.
Congrats, and get that checkered flag. Denny Hamlin's going to go to the boos of the crowd, grab his checkered flag for his 6th win here at Darlington in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. He actually finds a Denny Hamlin fan and gives the checkered flag back to that fan.
So many wins for Denny Hamlin in his career, and a very cool gesture there to give that fan the checkered flag. Well, Denny Hamlin will now...
Hamlin headed to victory lane once he gets back in the car. We'll go through the full field finishing order here. Hamlin with the race win. 0.6 of a second was the margin of victory over that of Austin Hill, who ends up in second. John Hunter Nemechek finishes in third, closes the regular season championship battle down just a little bit going into the regular season finale at Kansas next week, but Hill will still be the points leader. Cole Custer will finish in fourth today, and Josh Berry rounds out the top 5. Riley Herbst finishes 6th, Justin Allgaier 7th, Sheldon Creed 8th, Kyle Busch with a top 10 and 9th, and Daniel Hemrick rounds out the top 10. Sam Mayer finishes 11th, Chandler Smith 12th, Parker Retzlaff 13th, Brandon Jones 14th, Corey Heim 15th. Roger Cruthon 16th, Sammy Smith 17th, Jeb Burton 18th, Stephen Parsons 19th, and Brendan Poole finishes 20th. Jeremy Clements in 21st, Chad Fincham 22nd, Ross Chastain 23rd, Parker Kligerman 24th, Brett Moffitt 25th. Joe Graff Jr. ends up 26th, Matt Mills 27th, Kaz Gralla 28th, Ryan Ellis 29th, Ryan Sieg 30th. 31st, Kyle Weatherman. 32nd, Timmy Hill, and he was the last car in the lead lap. Anthony Alfredo with damage from earlier finishes 33rd. Blaine Perkins 34th, 35th. Kyle Sieg, Patrick Emmerling 36th. Josh Williams finishes 37th. And Kyle Larson rounds out the 38-car field today at 31 laps down. He had some engine problems in the late going to stage 2 there, pulled into the garage, and that's why he finished last and as many laps down as he did. Jonathan Nemechek dominated the day from speed through the first 2/3 by leading 100 laps from the pole, won the first 2 stages, but finishes 3rd in the race despite leading 4 different times. We had 5 different leaders overall. Hamlin, who won the race, led just 14 laps today. Austin Hill led 29, and those were the only 3 drivers to lead green flag laps in the day. Well, I guess Parker Retzlaff also led some green flag laps on pit strategy. He led 5 laps today as well, and then Larson led 1 on a restart also. So those are the 5 different drivers who ended up leading at least 1 lap in the race. Take a look at how many lead changes we ended up having here. It looks like we had 18 lead changes amongst those 5 different leaders as well. So that is the stats. Again, 7 cautions. Here's Dave Burns with Parker Kligerman.
Good adjustment. The car got better. And then, of course, the contact with the one. Assess today.
Yeah, I feel like, we were probably about a 10th place car, 8th to 10th, for our Spike Light Core Chevy here at Big Machine Racing. And I'm proud of, the way we executed this weekend, and even with having a loose wheel, to come back from that and have to make a bunch of adjustments and then just get flat run over by the one car. I mean, it's just so disappointing. Sam's a friend of the team. His dad is too, but I know he's won races, but he just does dumb stuff like that all the time. I don't know what the reasoning is, but he's got to clean it up. Hey, we're going to keep it interesting, right? So thanks to Scott Borchetta and everyone, Sandy Borchetta, for the opportunity here. We're gonna keep it fun and exciting for the TV at Kansas, make a show out of it, and we will find ourselves in. I felt like we were in a decent position. I knew how well Herbst was running, but we weren't far behind him. We kept him in check. We should put a show on next week.
You know this question because you've asked it before. Did you go have a conversation with Sam?
Hell yeah, definitely.
Understandably, guys. Marty?
Dave, let's chat with Austin Hill. Man, it looked like for a while this was going to be his race. You said that one makes me mad. Walk me through that final restart.
Yeah, I mean, really all day I'd been struggling with wheel spin. I was trying to clean up the tires differently each time, and you can see right there, I've still spun the tires a little bit, and I just didn't get rolling good enough, and the 19 had an edge on me. Tried to go really low into 1 to try to take some distance, and in doing that I got really tight, and that's kind of what allowed the 19 to clear me. Got into him a little bit off of 2 there, I think, and I went to just full send into 3, and when I did it, when I got beside him, I just got kind of pinned, and I couldn't go back to throttle. So at that point, I was just trying to keep the 20 behind me and see if I could get a surge again on the white flag lap. But me and the 20 just had a good battle there at the end, and it allowed the 19 to get away from us. But solid effort for everyone on this Bennett Chevrolet. Everybody at RCR, DCR has been working really hard. I just need to go back to the drawing board and figure out what I'm doing wrong on the restarts right there, because that was really frustrating all day today. It didn't matter where I was restarting. I would buzz the tires really bad, and just to lose track position every time I do it. So I got to do a better job of that if I'm going to win a championship. And but all in all, solid effort for us, P2. That's kind of something that we've been preaching the last 6 races. If you can't be first, be second. If you can't be second, be third. And we were second today, but it still stings a little bit when you want to win.
And maybe most importantly for Austin Hill, still plus 23 in the regular season points lead, Dave, with 1 race to go.
Important thing for Riley Herbst and his team was coming back after Daytona last week. You're not +1 to the cut line. What's the ride like?
It's just frustrating. I don't think we had a good enough car here to win today, and that's our ultimate goal, is to come here and win races. So that playoff stuff is cool, but I was telling Davin and Zipadelli that I really want to win races, and I want to win them now. So we got some work to do to find some speed compared to the top 5. I felt like we maybe had a 5th place car here today, but we'll take this Monster Energy car and move on to Kansas and continue to do what we did today and just execute. Run every lap, be there at the end, and see where the chips fall.
Kansas will be exciting, guys.
Definitely, as we have 1 race to go in the Xfinity Series of the regular season before the playoffs start. All right, Steve, thoughts about this one? Nemechek seemed to have dominated the race.
Well, you have to feel a little bad for Nemechek. Had a great car in the spring, fell a little short, had a great car here, and just kind of lost control of the race in the final stage. No surprise that Denny Hamlin found what it took at the end. Austin Hill, though, guys, continues to impress, right? We think about him as a speedway racer, but every track we go to, he finds his way inside the top 5, if not better.
That was going to be my thought. Austin Hill is answering some questions that I had about, can he win this championship? Can he take the fight to John Hunter Nemechek as the favorite? I think so, because of his run today here at a driver's racetrack.
And he's not the only one sitting there questioning himself, how do I restart at Darlington without buzzing the rear tires? That's been a problem forever. And I think if you're Riley Herbst, you got to feel really good about where you are. I feel like they've had more pace than the 48 most of the year. Now they go basically in a tie to Kansas with a chance to get into playoffs.
And again, tomorrow, a big day for motorsports and IndyCar Series, racing from Portland at 3 o'clock.
Alrighty, that is going to wrap up the stream today. Rick, NASCAR fan, thanks for tuning in there right at the end. As far as highlights go, there will be highlights on NASCAR's YouTube channel. I think Fox Sports YouTube channel, NBC Motorsports YouTube channel, they'll have a bunch of race highlights from today's race. As far as this channel, you won't see highlights from the race from today. If we see action-packed race tomorrow, you'll get to see that, though, for the Cup Series Southern 500 tomorrow night. As for that, we will have our coverage beginning at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow evening with the Cookout Southern 500. We'll have pre-race predictions, playoff predictions, obviously, with it being the first race of the playoffs as well, so I'll go through my bracket very quickly in that 45-minute stretch or so before we get racing for 500 miles around the track Too Tough to Tame, the Lady in Black tomorrow. Can't wait. Should be a fun one. It's always a fun race, fun weekend of the year to watch racing. Appreciate you guys tuning in once again. Be sure to like and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. Unfortunately, we did not get to our goal of likes on the stream today. I felt like we could have. I mean, we had like over 200 concurrent viewers watching, but I was looking at that like counter and it just wasn't going up for whatever reason. So if you didn't like it, I'm sorry. But appreciate all you guys tuning in, though, every single week. We'll be back better than ever at it again tomorrow, and then, of course, next week with the triple header at Kansas, Truck, Xfinity, and Cup as well. Hope to see you guys for that. We'll have a NASCAR Thunder 2004 live stream coming up still tonight. Career mode there. You get to watch me suck and maybe surprise at Talladega, I guess, in that stream. So appreciate it, everybody. I'll see you guys tomorrow night. For those of you I don't see later, 2 nights. Have a good rest of your Saturday, everybody.